Hello, one. Hello, all. Welcome to this September 21st edition of Show Business. We're not going to report numbers because there's stuff that's placing in the top 5 that A isn't even crossing 250,000, and B is stuff that's been around for like 9 months. So Tenet isn't doing too well in the States. It won the weekend with 4.7 million. That's all you need to know. Nothing big new is coming out. Where the money is at VOD. Hi, I'm CP as always.
And I am Lindsay. Hello and welcome. I'm Star Wars today, apparently. What's up?
I'm Back to the Future.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, that's dope, actually. I like that.
Yeah, so
hate the movie, but love the shirt.
So Fuego and Chauncey, off day. This isn't an incredibly busy week, so not to say we're not going to miss them, but they have stuff that takes precedence. If this were opening weekend for what's the next big thing?
That depends. What got canceled
coming out in 2025 or some shit.
I think the next big release is honestly going to be freaking Mandalorian on like at the end of October.
TV. So
it's not TV, it's Disney Plus.
Yeah. Unless of course you want to watch Mulan. Have you seen that yet? Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have a little bit of a special episode where we'll talk about just generic stuff in the year that was, or just topical business related. Perhaps we could talk about other parts of the world. Lindsay,
that sucks. I literally hate all those ideas you just said. There's got to be something more interesting we can do than that. Come on, I mean,
something more interesting than
something
that?
More fun than that. Yeah.
A bigger surprise for this.
I mean, that's a word that you could use to describe it. We're really building this up here. Like,
really?
Expectations. Should we get a drum roll going? Or
I mean, we are a little short on team members right now, so why not? Let's add to it. And there he is.
Oh, hello there.
Hi there.
That was my best Ewan McGregor, Anakin Skywalker from that movie I hate, where he's just like, "Oh, hello there."
I mean, that's one of the best lines in that trilogy, honestly. Hello there.
Trilogy. That I hate sand.
For very different reasons too.
Are you an angel? So for those of you who don't know,
who the heck is this?
Hello, Peter Beard movie guy.
Hey guys.
Peter might be, with the exception of me now, especially Peter might be the only person to take part in show business in every calendar year.
No.
Yeah, I think so. Technically, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Peter's old school. We wanted to bring him back for special reasons. The fact that there's only 3 of us, I swear to you, has nothing to do with it. Things happened. I have proof. I have receipts. But
this gives me a chance to address something that has been really on my mind, CP. The fact that you kicked me off the show and replaced me with a young, smart, attractive black woman. I'm just saying. Good job.
Dude, I had to add the sex appeal.
Hey, come on. I'm right here, guys. I'm the hot one, clearly. Like, come on.
No, on every level, I can't find fault in this.
Yeah. I mean, an actual journalist too. Like like it adds credibility. It's ridiculous.
No, I've been watching. I don't get to watch every week, and I very rarely get to watch the entire thing because my schedule is so up in there. But I have been watching, and I was just like, yeah, she's a good addition to the team.
Yeah,
and stuff. Yeah, I think you guys got before you guys got a good thing going. So.
Yeah, and you know what? Most alum of show business certainly. There's an open door to come back and hang out. And most alum can certainly come back. Bob, I know is on.
Oh, fuck Bob! No, dude. I would. It's been so long since I've talked to Bob. It would make me so happy just to see his face.
Yeah. Yeah,
his daughter's got to be a teenager by now.
Don't even say that to me, sir.
That's right. At least in double digits, right?
Dude,
you guys are
11, 12, 13?
My daughters are in grade 11 and university. So it's that's how old I am.
Wait, does university mean the same thing in Canada as it means in America, or is it like second grade?
Okay, yeah, no, it's roughly the same. So like she's not in university, college, but it's the same thing, right? Like so it's not as prestigious, but you know, it's she wants to be an ECE, which is like someone who works with kids, like daycare worker. So she's doing that, and my other daughter's in grade 11. So, and I started this when they were little people. So yeah,
that's the thing about kids, man. They make you feel your age because you literally watch the years just grow.
Watching my daughter. Okay, there was a while ago. You guys, Heathers the movie.
Yes,
I know of it.
So Heathers became a musical, and my youngest daughter got into the musical. She knew all the songs, and I watched you'll hear young people do stuff and say stuff that just breaks your heart when they because they'll quote something and they'll be like, "Yeah, I heard that on YouTube," and you're just like, "That's from The Godfather, man." It's like, and so this kid quoted the musical to her, and she went, "Do you know where that's from?" And the kid went, "Yeah, TikTok." And I saw her heart crush inside her chest, and I was like, "You know how I feel now." It's like you're old. It's like this kid is. Yeah, it was so funny. She's just like, "No, it's not from TikTok."
All right, guys. So we're as you can tell, we're a little actually. We're gonna pick Peter's brain because this is the first time. Whatever's left of it. Because this is the first time we actually have somebody on the show that can tell us about another country's experience as far as theaters. Hold that thought, Peter. But I just want to say,
Mexico,
man, Greenland is just killing it in the theater. So what's up to Dale, Marty? Mark's Monsters and Mad Men. Man, you gotta shorten that down. Mark's Monsters and Mad Men movie reviews.
It's Eminem, and R.
What's up there? Alan, Stiff Kittens, Zion. Hello there.
Oh, there's my daughter.
Just talking about you. Somebody's ears were ringing.
What's up, Zion?
What's up, Tim? Tim, you're on wrench duty. Just keep an eye out. Patrick, what's up, Patrick? Hope you're doing well.
Hey, Patrick.
And we're pretty well caught up. Okay. So Peter, you can find Peter on Bearded Movie Guy or BMG Radio, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. I did something called Bearded Movie Guy, which I did for 5 years, where there's still a couple hundred reviews up. And I did BMG Radio, which I then moved back over to Bearded Movie Guy, which was a half an hour show. And then I have a separate channel called The Daily Beard, which was last year. I vlogged every single day for 5 minutes.
You did the full year? Hell yeah.
I did minus 5 days where I was on vacation, and I got someone else to do it for me.
Yeah.
For those 5 days. So there were 5 videos those days, on one a day. One of my younger guys that I mentor, I got him to fill in for me. But I did one video a day for 365 days. So yeah, it was and then I was and I'm stepping away, and I stepped away for a while, and I occasionally do videos on that. So that's called The Daily Beard. If you're really,
but you have a massive backlog of stuff.
Yeah, it's funny because every once in a while, I very rarely do YouTube stuff, proper YouTube stuff anymore. And every once in a while, I'll go into my Bearded Movie Guy channel, and it's look at what's people are watching, and it's always my Goodfellas review, my Memphis Belle review, my 12 Angry Men review, my
old shit. You'd be surprised.
All stuff. It's no one cared about my Marvel reviews or it's all the old stuff. It's all the older videos that people don't review, and so because I did a bunch of older reviews anyway. So yeah, nice. You can find me on those channels. I don't do YouTube as much anymore. I'm kind of busy.
Yeah,
I go to school now and all this stuff. So
yeah, so that was the other thing I was going to mention earlier. Not like it was anybody's business, but we would have would have hit some sort of speed bump eventually with your school schedule. So
yeah. I dropped off last year, and I was planning on dropping off because, when I dropped off, when I left, I was going to be leaving anyways, because that September Monday nights I was at school till almost 10 o'clock.
Don't be polite. I was reshuffling the format, and
I left under very good terms, and
I appreciate it. I very much appreciate it. You were the one I was worried about, and meanwhile,
it went differently than we thought it would.
Yes, never planned. I guess that's the way to put it.
For the record, you'll never get rid of me, because I will kill everyone.
I've been trying to get rid of you for years. What the fuck, Paul? Is that the right you now? Can I wrench that version of you, Paul? Because
how many Pauls do we have?
Last time Paul, his school account was there, and I wrenched the wrong one. And
yeah, I can't go handing those wrenches out willy-nilly.
Yeah, listen, we only have a few, and you know,
I used to have one.
You do have one.
I was about to say, that's straight up mean. Don't just take it away from Peter.
You do have one. What are you talking about? You used to. You just don't use it.
Well, that's because I generally watch, a lot of the time I watch things on either my phone or especially on the TV. So you can't, when you watch, the bad part is when you watch YouTube on your TV, you can't really interact with it. You can't go in the chat. You can't, so quite often I'll just be sitting there going, oh, and I'll click it on and watch 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't get to get in the chat for that way. So
you can't, there's not much you can do. And the video is over. You can't interact with the things. Watching it on TV is good, it's fun, but the way YouTube's set up is broken. It's not the right YouTube.
Oh, wait, YouTube has issues? What you talk about? YouTube is perfect and has never made a mistake about anything.
Worth every extra penny they're taking.
You know what I do? I occasionally still get copyright strikes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
videos I made
just out of nowhere. Oh, by the way, remember that video did in 2013? That we're claiming that.
Yeah, it's and the funny thing is, YouTube owed me $23.
Yep.
When they changed their rules and kicked me off being a partner, so they never paid me.
That's bullshit.
They just never paid me the money they owed me, and then they go, we're copyright claiming this, and I'm like, you copyright claim everything I have. With no power comes no responsibility, and it makes me laugh every time I get a copyright claim.
That's such dick.
It's a good time. I've just given up trying to avoid them. I just embrace them and just let them fight over who gets the pennies. You'll get a claim on there from Warner Brothers and a music claim from Tower Record, not Tower Records.
Speaking of which, Lindsay, I absolutely adored your video about, what was it?
New Mutants?
New Mutants, where you had Captain America tell everyone to eat shit. It just was I literally had to watch it several times and show it to my family. I'm you guys got to see it.
Lindsay, you definitely got. Listen, as somebody who does it, you got to give us a little bit, once a quarter at least.
All week, and we'll talk about this eventually. All week, I've been trying to do a video on Tenet, but I get bored thinking about Tenet, let alone just trying to write a script about it. So I'm just I just keep abandoning it. I've got a couple of other little things I'm trying to get past script status. That's my thing these days. If I hate the script, it's not worth filming. So.
Yeah. I get to the editing part where I have 18 minutes. I'm like, this is stupid. What the fuck? What did I do? This is dumb. And it's just
such a painful moment when you record something. You're let's do this. Then you hear yourself say it. It's oh, this is terrible.
Yeah. There's no good takes. What am I thinking?
Why am I so preachy?
Yep. I don't deal with that anymore.
Well,
my life anymore.
So
thank you again, though, Peter, for the record. That I do appreciate.
Oh no, it was very entertaining.
Yes, everybody, check out my 2 cents of nonsense. His video on New Mutants is quite something to behold, especially when you consider a lot of people out there with thousands of subscribers are mailing it in, as far as I'm concerned, and Lindsay always has.
Well, I was screwed you. I mean, sorry, no, wait. What are you I love you, buddy. I'm totally kidding.
I don't you dare ever say I'm kidding. I know you don't have to. Okay. Please don't do that with me.
Okay, I will never do it again.
Ever. Yeah. It's a very, very well put together video. Very funny. But again, back to Canada, where Peter, you're from.
Yes, I am.
You guys are having far less problems than we are. I don't know what the problem is. We're connected. We're connected to each other. It's just so strange.
They closed that border pretty quick.
Who knew? Who knew the wall we were going to get was going to be up north?
They were quick to be like it's funny because like when COVID hit, they went, oh, okay, we're going to close the border to America, but we're going to let certain people in. And within like days, they backpedaled on that. They went, nope, unless you're a trucker delivering goods, you can't come into the country. Because they're just like, oh, like it's okay if these people, your aunt lives up here, and then all of a sudden it was like, nope, none of that crap. And so it's literally only goods and services stuff gets to cross the border. And they've basically kept that, as far as I know. I think it's still at that spot.
So how's business? Are you masking? Like what's different about you up there?
So in Ontario, what happens? So Ontario is the big province that everyone in Canada hates because we're like Toronto's like the main hub of everything Canada, and the rest of Canada hates it. It's like New York or LA.
It's good to be in the place that everyone hates, isn't it?
It is. It's just like Canada, it's like, doesn't matter where you are, you can find the fact that they hate where I come from. It's like Toronto is like Ontario, and then Toronto. It's like, oh, you're from Ontario. Oh, we don't like you. Oh, you're from Toronto. You're a douchebag. It's like, well, it's like whatever. And I'm like, cool. We got all the cool stuff you don't. But so what they did was like they locked everything down originally. So like a lot of things closed down. My wife's business. My wife worked at a brokerage firm. She does like the front desk and is like an assistant. And they shut the office down. And like so, a lot of like pretty much everything closed down that was not essential, except for obviously Tim Hortons, which is the coffee place.
Timmy's.
They stayed open. All food places and grocery stores stayed open.
It's the opposite of us.
And a lot of them modified everything. So Costco stayed open, but they partitioned everything. So it's like, and they had like only allowed certain people in the store. Like, so you only had like 40 people in the store. They had to line up. So sometimes it took like 25 minutes to get into Costco. Not that big a deal.
We have something like that. Nobody follows it. We have arrows on the ground, like in the
store. We have arrows on the ground.
Like you're supposed to go one way, and nobody
every time someone just walks willy-nilly down an aisle at me, like when I'm going up it, and it's the arrows like right underneath me, and they just look at me, and I'm just like, some people just want to watch the world burn. It's all
up for a game of chicken, I see.
And meanwhile, today I did it twice, where I walked down an aisle and realized halfway down, I'm like, oh crap! And I just hooked it down the aisle.
Listen, it's right there. It's right there. Let me just grab it. I'm sorry.
So they did all that. They a lot of the stores like modified their hours. They did stuff for seniors where it was like 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning. It was the only people who come in stores for seniors so that they didn't get trampled. And the toilet paper thing happened here.
It did.
It totally did. Like it didn't affect me because I found some right before and bought it, and then went a month and a half without being able to find it. It was just like, but it wasn't a big deal. But it was just there were people hoarding it, and then everything closed down. My daughters went on March break, which was a week in March, and
they're in school.
Yeah, well, they were told on March break, like on the Friday they were going on March break. It was announced that for 2 weeks after March break, the schools would be closed, and then they'd open back up to try and deal with COVID. And they never opened back up.
Oh yeah,
they straight up stayed closed. And then after that, after a full month, maybe almost a month and a half, they started doing online schooling, and which was hysterical because they immediately told everyone, oh, by the way, whatever your grade was at midterms, you can't get lower than that. So if you had a 60 at midterms, you're guaranteed a 60 for the rest of, like, unless you work really hard. So my daughters both kind of checked out and went like, "Great, thanks. I'll take a 60." And so that happened. All the theaters closed down. All restaurants was just takeout. So like, the theaters closed down pretty quick.
So you've got nothing too.
Well, right now. So what happened? I guess about a month and a half ago. So we're not as bad off as you guys are. You guys,
no one's bad off.
That's the understatement.
No, it's just I look at stuff going like every day in the news. I'm like, what are these people doing?
Not even we know. Not even they know. No. It's a roll of the dice.
Like 3 months ago, I think I walked in because I work with people with disabilities. So I got my work got shut down, but I got moved to another place to work.
That's odd because our country's run by somebody with a disability. That's so crazy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, don't worry. Don't just wish you would take our advice and inject bleach, but please. He chose not to. So
be patient, Zero, please.
Yeah,
please
lead the way, sir. Please. But yeah, so everything got shut down. My work, because I worked at a day program that got shut down, and I got bussed out to kind of like a house. So right now I'm at a house where guys live, and like we try and keep them inside and all that stuff, and like they don't get to go outside. It sucks. I've been there since like April, and it's now freaking September. And I don't think I'm going to be going back to my regular job anytime soon.
Yeah.
So that all shut down about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. They started opening everything up because the numbers had dropped down to a point where it was like, okay, let's start. So they went through phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 1 and 2 were like, oh, we're opening up these businesses, but not these businesses. And then phase 3 was finally movie theaters and restaurants could open up their like indoor dining.
Oh wow!
So
yeah.
What they did for most of the summer was if you had a patio, you could have people on your patio, but they had to be socially distancing. And so once that opened up, like to phase 3, you can now go in the restaurant. You have to wear a mask to your seat, then you can take your mask off.
Yeah,
which it's funny, but it's like masks in Ontario are supposed to be, if you're in a building, you're basically wearing a mask.
Yeah, New York.
If you go,
we had that for 3 days, and then Labor Day happened, and then we spiked, and then they were like, "Nope."
Yeah, no. We did it. It was funny because like we had one weekend where it was supposed to be like, oh, this is the first weekend of opening up, and they opened because all the parks got closed down. Like they literally put caution tape around all the playgrounds.
It's outside though.
Like
little
hands, little kids.
Killing
your grandparents. That's like so. Like they literally shut down all the parks. They shut like if you were caught, the people literally were rollerblading near a park and got like a $900 fine. So it got serious pretty quickly. Wow. And then, so they started opening all that back up, and when they finally opened up the theaters, at first there was no movies to play, so they were showing old movies. So I actually got to go see Inception for $5. And what they did was literally it's like 2 seats, 2 empty seats, 2 seats, 2 empty seats, and then the row behind it was a brick pattern, so it was like in between.
Yeah.
And then so I got to see Big Lebowski for $5.
Nice.
Took my daughter to see that for the first time. I'd never seen it.
Nice.
And stuff like so. We were doing that where they're showing older movies for cheap. And then they finally were like, okay, Tenet. Like the whole thing was like, get Tenet. And so they finally got I think we got Tenet the week before you guys got Tenet. We got Tenet. But a lot of you guys still don't have Tenet, depending where you're living, right? Like, is it playing in New York?
Technically, no. But my uncle's got a special.
He's got a copy.
Special theater.
Yeah, it is like what. Even if you don't like it, you gotta. It's a movie you really need to see on the biggest possible screen you can.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The better, like the larger it is.
Just listen to the podcast. You'll be fine. You don't need to see any visuals. Just take the audio out and just
let me tell you about it, and it's the same as seeing it. It's fine. I speak in IMAX.
So I have the movie slur. I speak for the films.
Yeah, I'll give you a recap. It's good. It's the same thing.
Well, To film in 2020, guys. What do you have a favorite so far from 2020? Like, it's slim pickings, but if you were to do your list tomorrow, which was pretty close,
12 films from 2020.
Okay,
wow, that's
what
for you. That's amazing. That's impressively low.
Here, I can. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's like,
new. He's only talking about new ones.
Yeah,
right. No, yeah.
Well, it's funny for old films. The where I work every day we watch 2 movies. So I watch usually 10 films a week just at work.
Yes.
And so I have spiked massively for how many films I've seen this year. But new films I've only seen 12.
Okay. And what's your number one?
Tenet is clearly my number one. I know Lindsay didn't like it, but I'm on the Brian Lomax movie thought of this, that it's
I knew I forgot to do something. I meant to watch Brian because people keep bringing that up in the comments. So I do want to watch that. I forgot to watch that though, and I love Brian. We never agree on anything, but I love Brian.
That's kind of Brian's deal. Like,
you
love him.
Like, I love Christopher Nolan, and so like people can call me a fanboy, and I'm like, okay, that's cool.
There are worse things to fanboy.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. But yeah, Tenet is my number one. So I'll tell you what I've seen from this year. Number 12 was Onward, which was just freaking terrible.
I didn't hear anything good about that.
It's so mediocre.
It was kind of weird. Like the dad dies, and then they go on this. He's like a ghost or some shit, and
they brought him back, and only half of him is brought back, and then they go on this adventure. But it's so boring that it's just like I just didn't care.
Yeah.
And like it's just like they're like, oh, we have Chris Pratt, it'll be great. But it's like Chris Pratt.
T.J. Miller.
Yeah.
That was the was the antimatter.
So I'm kind of burned down on Chris Pratt. Like I like him, he's funny, but I don't know. I feel like I've seen Pratt.
I think he has more range. Like I've seen him do some other things, but I think like everyone's kind of gotten Star-Lorded out at this point because it's just like it's like same with Ryan Reynolds to the point where it's like, yeah, Deadpool, we get it. Yeah, okay. it's awesome.
Yeah, there are some actors that really have this tight, area that they they're great in it, but that's really it.
I think it's a time thing, right? Like, because I've seen Ryan Reynolds do amazing things. He did a movie called Voices, which is really good, and stuff like where it's like he's a guy off his meds whose literal animals are talking to him and he's killing people, but he doesn't know he's killing people. It's really entertaining. So like I've seen him do stuff, but he's also stuck. Like the new movie Free Guy basically looks.
I do want to see that though.
It looks like Lego. It looks like he's playing Emmett from Lego, the Lego movie.
Yeah, a little too happy, silly. Yeah.
And it's just like, so he looks like Deadpool if he was on uppers and just happy about everything.
An actor I would have said that about up until 2 recent movies was Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson, until Good Time and Tenet, I would have said he seems like he's always mailing it in and whatever. But man, he's the star of Tenet, in my opinion. He's
a big thing for Tenet. Yeah,
he's like charismatic, and it's like, who is this guy?
Yeah, it is funny because Zion, my daughter, who's hopefully probably still listening, was not a fan. She hates Twilight. My wife likes Twilight. Like we went away last year in February for a youth thing at my church. She binge watched all 5 movies while we were away because she knew none of us wanted to watch them with her.
Yeah, that was going to be punishment for Emily and I. Yeah, literal punishment.
Yeah, it's so bad. She mainly only knows him from that, right? So we watched Tenet, and she knew he was the new Batman. And literally she was just like, and then we watched Tenet. She's like, oh no, bring on Batman. It's like this guy is good. I like him. It's like that's not the sparkly guy. He's different.
Yeah.
So, no, he's got chops. He can act.
There's a line, I know it's not, it's probably script, but the delivery certainly helps. There's a line where they're explaining one of their heisty things in Tenet, and they need to crash a plane into something. And the line, I forget what the line was, but Pattinson's response is, "You don't have to be so dramatic about everything."
Yeah, it's like he's like a plane. He goes, "No, it's not flying. Don't be so dramatic."
Yeah.
It's not crashing.
It's
it's not crashing. It's not,
I'm like that. I get kudos, man. I really like that delivery.
I agree. Both him and John David Washington, both at moments, like their charisma really punched through the sort of lifeless script, and like, we're actors. It's like, oh, hey, that's right, you are. Like, not lifeless. They were
going a completely different way than Lindsay, but I value your opinion, sir.
No, it's totally fine,
dude. When they're on that highway, what are you doing? Are you just sitting there like, man, I'm bored?
I mean, yeah, that's a cool scene, but like, it's a 2 hours
for like 20 minutes. There's fucking cars flying backwards and things.
Oh man!
You have to wait about 2 hours to get there.
Yeah, that's fair. It's fair.
It's funny. It's like all the exposition-y stuff before the big action stuff. I watched it twice now.
Oh, okay.
I liked it just as much the second time. Like I actually liked it more the second time, and all that stuff that I was like, "Where's this going? Where's this going?" Now that I knew where it was going, all of it didn't bother me at all. It was just like, cool, I know where it's going, and then you get to see little things that you didn't notice the first time because, like, if you've seen the film, there's a thing that was revealed that it's like, and so like we went and saw Tenet. We went to see Tenet in IMAX. I don't get to see a lot of movies in IMAX. I've watched some. And we bought tickets for it, walked in the theater, and they went, "Yeah, the power just went out. You go get your seats, and we'll see how it is." And after waiting 45 minutes, they came in and went, "Yeah, they came in several times saying, 'We're gonna fix to be up in 5 minutes,' and then they finally went, 'Yeah, we're on the phone with IMAX. We can't get the projection started. So you can go to one of the many other viewings we have of Tenet because they had them every 15 minutes." At this multiplex, because it was like a 22 screen multiplex.
I'm wondering
but they only had one IMAX screen. So it was just like, it was like, you can go to any of the other ones. And I went, I paid for IMAX. And they went, well, what we're going to do is give you free tickets for now and a free ticket for later. And so we went and saw it in regular theater. And then 2 weeks later, we went back and saw it in IMAX.
Dude, theaters, once you're past that concession stand, they don't fucking care, man. Wait, you want free tickets for next time? Here. You want something else now? Here. We would like you to buy some popcorn though.
Yeah. So, which we didn't. I didn't want to take a second mortgage out of my house. But no, so we went seeing it the second time, especially in IMAX. It's fuller screen. It just was super enjoyable watching it the second time. So,
yeah, people like I think moviegoers need more credit. Maybe not in this country. Maybe not under this establishment. No ill intent intended. But I myself am currently on a myriad of medication that is fucking with my brain, and neurologically I've got something going on. So I had to watch very carefully when I watched Tenet. And within 10 minutes, I knew something was important. And I was like, wait a minute. This guy's got something on a book bag. We didn't see his face.
Yeah.
Something's up there. And I just held that and waited for it. And I think that kind of drove me. I was like, this feels like it lives in the world of Inception, and I'm kind of digging it. So
that would have been amazing if suddenly, like halfway through the movie,
cops
yeah,
like they just walk past each other. You don't need to make a thing out of it.
Yeah. Just a fan service. You'll be dead.
What is it? The movie with Tom Cruise and in the taxi being driven around by Jamie Foxx, and just passes Jason Statham. Collateral. He just passes Jason Statham in the hotel. And just do that. That would have been so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's funny when that scene came out. Like they're near the end when they're going to the big thing with the Russian place and all that stuff. Yeah, I was looking at my watch, going, when is he going to have time to go do this thing at the opera house? And I was just like, when's that going to happen? It's like, because at first I thought it was the same situation as the first time when he's fighting. So I thought, and then at the end. But the second time watching it, my daughter Zion was sitting next to me, and every time something went between the two characters, she was like, "Oh!"
Yeah,
freaking out. And it's just like, so the second viewing was more enjoyable. And there was a part I didn't understand. My oldest daughter, Marjane, I'll give her some credit. There was a part with the boat and jumping off the thing and all that stuff. I was like questioning certain things, going, that doesn't make sense because of this, and it doesn't make sense. And my daughter, who's 18, literally went, "No, Dad, it makes sense because of this and this and this." And I was like, I think you might be right, but I'm not sure. So like the second time watching it, I was like, "Oh no, you're right. It's totally, you are right." I was confused.
Are you talking about what a woman did?
What a woman did, where the guy went? Because I'm just like, I didn't realize someone was going back to a point.
Oh, okay.
And so I was just like, but that would make him disappear from, and I was doing the mental math wrong, and she pointed it out to me, and I was like, maybe you're right. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, you're completely right. It's like, that's what happened. Trying to not give it away for someone who hasn't seen it. Because again, America hasn't.
Pretty close to spoilers,
yeah.
And
this is what I really want to say that really annoyed me about the movie, and they kind of mentioned it in the chat, but again, spoilers, so I don't really want to give it away. Like, it's very interesting hearing you guys talk about it, because like I just couldn't engage with it. I don't know what it like. Yeah. I just bounced off of it.
Yeah.
In like there's a scene in a restaurant, and then a scene in an art gallery, and then a scene in a restaurant. I'm like, what kind of structure is that? And then there's like Robert Pattinson and John David Washington walking down the street, something else, and then they're walking down the street again. I'm like, what is this structure?
It does feel very Inception like, in that where like Inception,
right,
they're literally like walking around a building that's in the dream world, and then the next thing you know, they're sitting in the warehouse, and then the next thing you know, Cobb is doing this, and then there's not a lot of
it works better there though, because like the lack of transitions like play into like the dreamlike elements of Inception.
Yeah.
Like,
no, Inception prepares you for Tenet, because
I think it's
maybe there's like, all right, you're like, he wakes up in water, and he's at the beach. They bring him to an older version of that dude's name. I forgot.
Sato,
right. And then next thing you know, we're getting like a flashback of sorts at the same exact location.
Right.
And then somehow DiCaprio's in power, and he gets something out of a safe, but it's nothing.
Not exactly what he wanted.
And you're like, what? First of all, where is this? What is with this set design? And it's very similar the way it's like, all right, we're here now we're here. Now we're on a chopper, and tell the pilot where you need to go. He'll take you there. And by the way, now you have to go to India and run between two really tight walls how the fuck did they build those is my question.
That's a great chase scene too, by the way.
Overtime. Yeah, that's a great chase scene.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one thing I'll say about Tenet is I missed Hans Zimmer a bit.
Yeah. Who was the composer? I don't even know.
That's a good question. It wasn't Hans Zimmer.
I'll look it up.
That's weird, because like he loves Hans Zimmer. No one.
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer. Maybe Hans Zimmer was busy, but that seems weird.
Ludwig Göransson.
Maybe it's like Hans Zimmer's protege.
Maybe. Let's take a look at this guy. What else is he?
It sounded vaguely Hans Zimmer, just not with the full.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer's like he's
one of my favorite composers. Like I would say who's done more iconic scores, John Williams, but in the last 20 years, who's done more iconic scores? I would say Hans Zimmer.
John Williams is certainly got the epic everything down. I think Hans Zimmer knows how to put an exclamation point on a scene, and Hans Zimmer's got really, really good. Like, people give him credit for the fucking. That's just one thing, but
actually that was in the trailer, so I don't even think Hans Zimmer actually even did that.
Yeah, it's playing the.
No, he did it in the movie.
It's that song backwards.
Like, we're gonna take that.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a horn played backwards, but like really, really pinned out and whatever. But my favorite moment like Hans Zimmer moment is something so I don't know, not many people give it much credit, but the scene at the end of Dark Knight when I think I've talked about this in the last week when Two-Face has the kid of Gordon.
Yeah.
And Gordon's like, please don't hurt him, hurt me. And Two-Face says, I'm about to. The music behind that is just it's just so tragic and like, this guy, he's like, yeah, oh no, that's what I'm gonna do. Don't you worry. Yeah. And the music just assists it so much. And I got goosebumps thinking about it. It really worked.
I've been a huge fan of his. The very first soundtrack I ever listened to, where I was like, I need to buy that soundtrack, was actually Hans Zimmer soundtrack. It was to Backdraft. I saw the movie Backdraft, and it's got some really good like. It's like, and it's just I listened to this when I was a teenager. I listened to this soundtrack over and over and over again, and not knowing who Hans Zimmer was, I just really liked the soundtrack.
I think Hans Zimmer did Days of Thunder. I wonder.
Yes, he did. He did.
I love that soundtrack.
It was like a pre Days of Thunder soundtrack, I think, for him. And it set up some of the things he did later.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a really good
Days of Thunder.
Yeah. When COVID hit, that was sadly one of the casualties of COVID. We had 4 movies lined up to see in theater that we were going to go see. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. For $5, they put old movies in the theater. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Days of Thunder, To Catch a Thief, and I'm trying to remember what the other one was, but there were 4 movies, and Days of Thunder was one of them, and the girls had never seen it, and so
Days of Thunder in a modern theater would probably sound awesome.
Yeah, I was like super stoked for it, and we were going to travel like 40 minutes to go watch it, and I'm just like, no, I'll do it, it's fine, and then COVID hit, and it's just like everything started dropping off. The Breakfast Club was the other one, which is Diane's one of her favorite movies.
Do you need to see that in the theater, though?
It's just the thing of seeing it in the theater.
Yeah, I get it.
Cool.
I get it.
But like, it's not as cinematic as The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's like clearly, but. Yeah.
I forgot. Me and my ex-wife went and saw like Home Alone in the theater, and I was like, "Did we really need to do this?" Like, okay, sure. Lindsay, you haven't said your so far favorite of 2020. How many films have you seen?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'll figure that out. But I think my favorites are probably going to be either
not favorite.
It's New Mutants.
Well, I did like New Mutants, but I
actually did like New Mutants too.
Right? Like it's so fine. Flawed, but it's fun in a weird way.
Fine. It's like it's better than the 3 other X-Men films easily. It's
the last couple of non-Deadpool ones, without a doubt. Yeah, you can't. Everyone's like, it's the worst. I'm like, have you seen X-Men 3 this decade?
Yeah. Have you seen Apocalypse? It's better than all those ones.
Yeah, Wolverine. Anyway, okay, so I'm torn between either Palm Springs or Gretel and Hansel. I honestly can't decide which one to kind of put forward as my favorite. Like Gretel and Hansel, like there's just so many striking shots, and if you want to talk about cinematography, there's just so many creepy images from that movie that have not left my head since I've seen it, and it's such a great performance from the frickin' Borg Queen from the Star Trek Voyager, and the girl. She's amazing. I spent the whole movie being like, "Who are you? I know you." And later on, I looked up. I'm like, "Oh my god, yay!" Anytime you see the Borg, it's a good day. Yeah. And what is the girl? Was she in It? Is that what she was from? Because she was very good as well.
I haven't seen either of those movies. I've heard a bunch about Palm Springs, which is the time loop movie, right?
It's a really, really great take on Groundhog's Day.
Yeah,
great.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting approach. Like,
I've heard it's very 2020.
Yes, it is. It is a very 2020 Groundhog's Day.
Is it very 2020? Wow.
That it's just
it is the girl from It. I knew it.
Because everyone got stuck in the same day, basically living in their houses when they got quarantined and stuff. That it was very very 2020 movie that it's just like, hey, what you doing today? Same thing I did yesterday. Watched Netflix. And
yeah, that line got to me, man. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, movie. Where are you going? I'm down.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Didn't get that. I didn't get to do that because I actually worked. So it's like, I had friends that were like, "Man, I've watched some of Netflix," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't get to do that. I get to come home and watch some, but I don't get to just stay at home and like."
What? Shut up, Peter. You didn't watch both Star Trek Voyager and Star Trek Deep Space Nine the last few months.
No,
CP did.
No.
I definitely did. But no, I think that the repeating day concept is a really, and this is the theme that it seems to explore the most often, is depression. Like, what's his name? Groundhog Day is super depressed. Happy Death Day. This Palm Springs, and even Tom Cruise and Die Repeat is, he's not exactly
called Die Repeat. It's called Edge of Tomorrow.
I know, but it's anyway. So,
All You Need Is Kill. That's a better name. That was the manga name.
That would have been such a good name. That really would have been
such a better name. All You Need Is Kill.
I just want to see that on a poster next to Tom Cruise's face. All you need is
they actually have them.
They do? Okay.
When it was released in Japan and in Asia, that's what they called it.
Oh, because it's based on a manga from over there.
Because it's based on a manga. So they're just like, oh, yeah, we're in Asia. It's Tom Cruise. All you need is kill. It's like there was everywhere. So I don't know. I'll tell you quickly what I watched this year. I watched 12 movies. So Onward was the worst. I watched Bad Boys for Life.
Mm-hmm.
It was all right. It happened. And then I watched a bunch of Netflix stuff. So I watched Spencer Confidential, which is a Mark Wahlberg movie. It's fine. An anime called A Whisker Away because I love my wife. Underwater, which I thought was fine. People hated it, but I keep
wanting to put it on because it's
not bad.
Yeah,
it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Extraction with Thor, which Netflix movie where it's like wanting to be John Wick.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah.
The New Mutants, which again I was like, I was entertained. It was fine. Birds of Prey, which was just like I liked, even though it's like got a lot of flaws. And I just watched Bloodshot, which a lot of people hated, but I was just like, no, it was fine.
Bloodshot is Vin Diesel, right?
Diesel, yeah. I'm one of the rare people that read the comic, and so I was like, no, this is pretty much the comic. It's like I don't get why people were like saying it sucks. Like it's not an Avengers movie. Don't get me wrong, but it was fine. It was entertaining for 2 hours. Have you seen The Old Guard on Netflix?
Not yet. I really want to though.
I haven't had a Netflix in a while.
So it's Highlander basically. It's like 4 immortals that have been around for a long time, and they basically get this guy trying to catch them and milk them for their immortality. And then The Five Bloods.
Oh, I watched that.
I thought that was that's my second best movie of the year. I thought that was really good for Spike Lee. I thought it was a little too much at points. Pretty heavy-handed. Like Delroy Lindo's character became pretty heavy-handed at one point, but he also put like an acting clinic on at one spot. So it was just like that. And then Tenet. So that's like my 12 movies of the year that I've seen that are from 2020. So.
Yeah, I mean Spike Lee. Sometimes he gets a little too heavy-handed, and sometimes like he gets the point across.
I just saw Black Klansman a little while ago.
Black Klansman's incredible. I love that.
It's a great movie, and it was so funny because like every once in a while, Denzel Jr. John whatever Washington. Every once in a while, I would hear him. I was like, "Holy crap, Denzel!" Like he would say certain phrases, and I'm just like, "It's his dad. It's literally his dad right there." Just for like a phrase, and then he turned back to himself, and I'm just like, wow, okay, so that's what it would have looked like if Denzel had done this movie. So, but yeah, I think that Black Klansman is great. So
I really like Black Klansman like a lot, and that's an interesting case because that's not a very historically accurate movie, but it's still just really good.
It's just entertaining. I just thought it was really entertaining.
I've got my count 19.
I did, yes.
For the record, one of those is Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, which was never going to get a theatrical release. I don't know if that counts.
I want to see that. I want to see that.
I watched all those because I was like, I watched Justice League War, and I'm like, this feels a lot like what Snyder was going to do. So I watched the rest of them.
Yeah.
My thoughts were the Suicide Squad one was way better than it should have been, and yeah, these are definitely like the animated Snyder movies.
Yeah, although they should have followed them closer, and like I think they probably would have been, better. But release the
I'm watching Hush, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this guy's going to be Hush the entire time. Yeah, it's got to be this guy, and then at the end, I'm like, oh, it's not. That's weird. And then I look it up online. It's like, oh, in the comics, it was the guy. They just like, why'd you change that? I was right. Why'd you deprive me of that?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. As we sit. Well, hold on. Let me count. I have 29
from this year,
2020 releases, and most of them are stinkers. There a lot of VOD movies.
A lot of mine was like literally. It's like once I get to Bloodshot, everything is 3 stars until Onward, which I give 2.5 to.
Yeah,
I have from 2 to 11 is 3 stars. They're all entertaining.
I don't think I have more than 5 movies with 3 stars or higher. It's a shitty list. But my least favorite film of 2020 thus far is My Truth, The Rape of Two Coreys, which is the Corey Feldman documentary.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Very, very leading documentary. I think you described to me once, right?
Leading, yeah. Things. I'm not denying that things happened to him. The style in which that film is presented is very Dinesh D'Souza. Where it's like you gotta, you have to use words like allegedly, because you're just going off on shit here.
Did you watch Fall of the Cabal? Ain't nobody got to say.
Oh man,
okay,
yeah. That's why Chauncey's in here, because I watched some of Fall of the Cabal, and wow, I need a new brain.
I need a vacation.
What else do I got here? The Grudge, my second least favorite.
That's right. The Turning was another really bad horror movie.
Bliss. I don't know if you've seen that. That's a Shudder film that might be getting some sort of release. It was a Shudder exclusive where this painter girl ends up being a vampire.
Okay.
Yeah, we get it. You have to paint. That's all right. Cool. Yeah. Blood, tits, and paint. That's what I would call it. Actually, probably sell more tickets with that title. Onward is my next one up.
Yeah, it's just boring.
Yeah.
Was that Disney or was that Pixar?
It was Pixar.
It's Pixar. Pixar is not what they used to be, man.
No.
There was a day that Pixar movies were like boom, 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 and then it's like Disney like Wreck-It Ralph came out and I went, that's a good Pixar movie, and they went, no, it's a Disney movie, and I was like, sorry?
Yeah.
And then they're like, and then Brave came out and I went, well, that's an okay Disney movie, and they went, that's a Pixar movie. I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, what? When did they switch places? I don't understand. And then lately Pixar is just not being like Toy Story 4 was.
I like Toy Story 4.
That's all right.
There was things I liked about it, and there's things that shit all over the rest of the franchise.
Well, yes, I agree with you. I have the same thoughts. Peep, is that her name? Bo Peep, whatever.
Yeah.
Or Bo.
Bo.
Yeah, Bo. Yeah, Bo.
Peep. Shut up, Peep.
Shut up, Peep.
What essentially they do to her in Toy Story 4 is what they did to Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars sequels.
Oh, they gave him depth.
Because
light up now. What do you got?
Because she's kind of like a streetwalker, if I could be so kind. she's hanging out with, you know, like I mean, listen, I'm not saying
action figures.
Yeah, I'm not saying that hanging out at the pinball rink, whatever the fuck it was, like it was like a danky bar as far as Toy Story was concerned. And they made it seem like she was a little bit more. This is my life now.
Yeah. Although Keanu Reeves
seen
was
it all.
just perfect.
Yeah, I remember Keanu Reeves as the stunt man.
Yeah.
That was great.
Duke Kaboom. I'm just like he's the best part of the freaking thing for me.
Those dolls were creepy as fuck.
Oh yeah, frick yeah. And then, like the message at the end was really weird too. It was like to the girl that wanted Woody's voice box. It was like, you don't need the children to love you. And then she's like, I don't. And then it's like, oh, quick, here, take my voice box and we'll get you a child. And it's just like, and then she gets a child, and it was like, wait, what message were you trying to say? I'm not sure if you were saying that kids do need toys and toys need kids, and then Woody goes off and says, I don't need kids. And it's just like, I don't know what they're trying to say here.
Yeah, it is weird. It felt like a movie that was for nostalgia, but then it was like, you know, the things that you're nostalgic for need to be, you know, paid attention.
Yeah.
No, those are just items. No, I'm sorry. The vinyl on my counter isn't crying because I'm not putting it on.
You don't know that.
And that's why they turn to drugs if I don't use it for 2 years.
All the liquid leaves the vinyl and they crack because of all the tears they've shed not being played.
Like the metaphors have always been a little muddled in the sense of like, so are they like a metaphor for parenting, or are they just the embodiment of childhood? So there is those waters are a little bit murky. But for Toy Story has always been like, and this is entirely just my perspective, but I guess the easiest way to describe it is like a super old version of Sleeping Beauty, like the 1928 version or something like that, opened with like this, you know, little text scrawl via Star Wars before Star Wars was a thing. It's like, come with us on this magical journey where things don't actually make sense within the realm of our world, but are fun and fantastical. And like, that's kind of how I view Toy Story, you know, like, yeah, it's a little muddled if you think about it, but at the same time, it's like, we've all had that moment of, oh, my childhood ended for me when I gave my Pokemon cards to my little brother moment of Andy handing Woody over to the kid.
Yeah. That was the perfect ending. Like,
like Toy Story 3 was just like, why did they make the fourth one? And they're like, oh, because there was more to say. And I'm like, but I don't know what you were trying to say. At the end of that movie, you give two competing messages that I'm just like,
yeah.
It wrapped up really well with the third one. The third one was dark. Like, my daughters hate Toy Story because the third one scared the bejesus out of them.
Well, there's that moment where it's like, oh God, they're gonna die. They're gonna die.
It's the thing. Like, my best friend loves Toy Story because he was the age Andy was when Toy Story came out, and then when the second one came out, he was that age, and when the third one came out, he was going to college. So it was like the third one isn't for kids; it's for people who grew up with Andy and Woody and Buzz. And so he's like, this makes perfect sense to me. Yeah. And it's like, and it was dark. And so my daughters saw it without me. They saw it on a school trip and they just came back going, I hate Toy Story. And they've never watched them and don't want to watch them again. I've tried to be like, but you should try now that you're older. No.
I think Toy Story 3 is the best one because I think it tells so many different angles of a story. Like
so well.
Yeah, like, you know, it's someday you're not going to be, you know, a kid. Someday you're not going to be the favorite thing. Someday people move on. Like, there are so many different things that they covered in Toy Story 3, where it was a real mature movie wrapped up in a cartoon. But God forbid us Americans not have happy endings. Jesus.
I will say there's a bit of a catharsis to the idea, or like, you know, comfort to be taken from it. And in Toy Story 4, the idea of like, that's like, you can almost say like the entire franchise is Woody going through a prolonged midlife crisis. Like what Andy finding Woody triggers Woody's version of Walter White starting to go cook meth. Whatever the. It's not the most one-to-one allegory, but I think
I understand what you're saying. It's basically it's a transitionary phase for Woody, and he's trying to figure out life and what his place in the world when he's not the thing that.
I think the fourth one, like, you finally I can be happy by myself. I can just have Bo. I don't need to be surrounded by kids or again. It gets a little muddled when you start but I think that's kind of how I've always read it. But I don't think 4 is as good as 3. I think I might have said it is at the time. Because, again, Toy Story just gets me in that special spot where it's hard to be critical of it until I've had time. But I do think 3 is the superior film by far.
Yeah, I mean, either just do a requel with the girl for 4,
oh god, what if they remade 1, but it's the girl getting a Barbie or whatever, and then Woody and Buzz are like, no.
I mean, if you like, me too. If that's what you want to do with it. Cool. Or it's a Toy Story. I got an idea. Do different toys and just have it be different kids. Like what
new characters. And,
that would be great if they did with a Toy Story 5 but it's none of the toys that we've ever seen before. It's none of the characters we've ever seen before. They do a Toy Story what everyone thought Pets was going to be. Like, a bunch of little vignettes of pets kind of alone in the apartment when their parents and it's toys. It's like, this kid's toys, this kid's toys. It's like a bunch of short stories. That'd be kind of fun.
Thank you. Yeah. I forgot
That's a Disney Plus thing. That sounds like it should be a Disney Plus thing.
I said that. I said that years ago. I was like, yeah, okay. So we get this Buzz Lightyear's story, but there's racks and racks of other Buzz Lightyears. So what, who's he going home to? Who's that one going home to? I want all those stories too.
Imagine like one story is like a collector. He's got like 1,000 of the original generation Buzz Lightyears just like sitting in like a shed or something like that. And they all think that I am Buzz Lightyear, but then they start like, wait, you're not Buzz Lightyear. I'm Buzz Lightyear. So it starts being like Buzz Lightyear Battle Royale or whatever.
Like a Black Mirror episode.
Morning. Go ahead, Peter. Go ahead.
Disney's like, these guys are onto something. We need to write this stuff down.
I'm telling you, freaking Brad Bird's watching this right now. What's up, Brad? Let's talk about Tomorrowland, Brad.
Tomorrowland. What the heck was that, Brad?
I'm good. I just need $80K and 1% on the back end, and you could take all my ideas. That's it. Yeah. But I need it now, like now.
Yeah, right now.
Okay, I'll take $10. CP do
now.
Lindsay, what else did you got? In the middle, bottom?
I saw, Extraction was fun.
It was fun. Yeah,
I think that action scene in the middle is dope. The rest of the movie, I was okay, but that action scene in the middle was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very fun.
Yeah, I really liked Birds of Prey. Fantasy Island was weird. The Grudge was weird. The Turning was almost good, but then completely face planted itself. That's another good one that I've seen so far.
Yeah, you know what's funny? If this year keeps playing out this way, we're gonna have more major horror releases than anything else in 2020.
I was gonna say that's a lot of horror you're talking about. That's because like there was only 2 months or 2.5 months.
Yeah.
The only time you get more horror,
and every week it was like, here's shit horror. Here's shit horror. This week we've got 2 shit horrors.
Yeah, I remember watching it. There kept on coming out, and it's just like, oh look, another horror movie. It's just like,
oh, Ben Says the Lodge. I like that movie. That I don't know if I could watch that movie now. That movie is, it's a woman who's married to a man who has kids with a different woman. The previous mother is dead. And so the father has to drive into town to do some work and leaves the girlfriend, mommy.
It's not like Mama. Are you sure this isn't Mama?
I'm pretty sure. My brain is toast, so it could be.
Mama has Jessica Chastain. That's the big difference.
Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't those ones. I know that. I know that for a certain.
Okay.
And she's taking care of kids that aren't exactly fans of hers, but she has issues mentally, and she starts feeling weird, and
who's the woman?
That's a good question. It's not Jessica Chastain. I know that.
It's not Neve Campbell, is it?
No.
Okay, for some reason my brain went Neve Campbell.
Yeah. So she slowly descends into madness while being responsible for these two kids, and holy fuck, is there a twist? And you're like, oh, that was actually pretty decent.
Okay.
It's not a happy movie because it's just so dreary, and you feel terrible for somebody who thinks they're going through. I guess it hits a little bit closer for me. Somebody who's not sure of like what they're seeing and what they're hearing and their environment, and turns out no, you're okay. Something else is going on, and kudos to whoever made that movie. I should have that info, but The Lodge, as long as you can handle some depressing subject matter.
Riley Cogue? Is that who it is?
Oh, Riley Keough.
Oh, Ryan Coogler, yeah.
Ryan Coogler.
Let's follow up the Black Panther.
Her and Alicia Silverstone?
Barely. Alicia Silverstone's like, hi, I'm the mom. Bye.
So yeah, okay. So it had to be her. So yeah, Riley Keough. I don't know how you say her name. Keough.
I think it's Keough.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
I remember seeing the show.
Yeah, if you're feeling good and you need to narrow out a little bit, I would suggest The Lodge. But The Lodge is so not a 2020 movie, especially now, because it's like as much as as a film fan / critic of how films are made. I am not a film critic. I will critique films. Let me make that abundantly clear. I am not accredited by Rotten Tomatoes, even though they're just handing those things out like free cheese now.
If you were, would it actually change anything though?
But Babysitter, fun time. The Babysitter, or whatever the second one's called.
The second one, I've seen the first one.
Yeah, similar thing. McGee directed this too. Very goofy, a little too much with the humor. Okay. I stepped away from it and said, "This fucking movie is just over the top and silly." And then I exhaled for a second and said, "It's 2020. Fuck it. I needed that movie." So,
yeah. You know what movie I was really this might, I don't know if Lindsay loved this movie. I can't remember. I think you did.
What's up?
I just watched a movie that I thought I was going to like a lot more than I did. I liked it. I thought it was really well made, but it just wasn't what I thought it was. I just watched Jojo Rabbit.
Oh yeah, I love me some Jojo. Yeah.
I didn't love it as much as I thought I was going to.
Man.
There's scenes that and I think it's because it was a lot darker than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. I was surprised at where it went, and then I was like, okay, and then like certain things happened in the movie, and I was like, okay, that's like, we're going there. Really?
It juggles tones.
I thought this was supposed to be, because it's played in the ads very much like, it's a kid. Yeah. With Hitler, who's his imaginary friend, and that's great. Those sections are great, and the sections that are dramatic are great too. Like I gave it
shoelaces, fucking
yeah. Like I gave it 4 out of 5. I give it 4 out of 5. I thought it was a really well made movie. I just don't know if I ever want to see it again. I was like,
dude, Taika Waititi playing a slightly overtly effeminate version of Adolf Hitler just makes me chuckle. I'm sorry.
I love when he comes in, he's in the bed, and he's like, "So what was that?" And he's like, "I'm keeping a bed warm." It's just, And my favorite person in the movie that I had no clue was there was Sam Rockwell. I was like, Sam Rockwell?
Oh, yeah.
I had no clue he was in the movie.
At the end, with
I was just like,
things happen.
yeah, there's a scene with him and Alfie, whatever his name is, and I was like, I guess they're gay. Okay, yeah, it's like,
dude, Sam Rockwell.
Like, they look really close into each other.
Dude, that last moment with Sam Rockwell where he just like he takes the bullet for the kid is
spoiler.
Sorry.
Yeah,
like Sam Rockwell is one of those actors, man, and like he should just be in everything. It's just inexcusable. Like
he makes every movie better. I love Sam Rockwell.
You want to talk about diverse? He's a diverse actor. He can bounce around and play different roles.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I Galaxy Quest.
I'm the red shirt guy. I'm gonna Moon. Moon. There's a guy who's gone on a trajectory of downhill. So you have Duncan Jones, David Bowie's son. Directs Moon as his first movie. Moon, I give 5 out of 5. I think it's brilliant. I think it's amazing.
Right.
And then he does Source Code. Source Code I thought was really good. I
like Source Code.
I give Source Code like 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Right? Then he does Warcraft.
I
like, which I thought was I gave it 3 out of 5. I thought it was quite watchable, and I don't know anything about Warcraft.
The rest of the world seems to love Warcraft. I know that.
Like I don't know anything. I don't play it. I don't know anything about it. I thought it was watchable. I enjoyed watching it. Then I haven't seen his next movie, but I've been told by everyone that it's not, which was Mute, which was a Netflix film. And most people that I've been talked to that saw it said it was just okay. And I'm just like, so for me to start out, Moon is your first movie. And every movie is like a little bit of a step down. It's just like, I'm like, that's weird. Because usually it's like your first movie is like this, and it's just like everything starts, if you're really on a good trajectory. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, he's like from a 4 to a 2. It's not, it's not, he's not M Nighting it.
No,
never M Night like M Night.
No, M Night, I don't know what.
I've currently been watching Avatar: The Last Airbender.
So have I.
Oh, it's first of all so good. Second of all, dude, Peter, why did we wait so long? Third of all, what the freaking frackety fruit was that adaptation? After 2 episodes, I was already like, M Night barely watched the show and just made everything up.
It is funny because
I
actually okay, so for Last Airbender, I saw the movie. I'd watched 1 episode of the animated thing back in the day. And so I was like, I think he nailed it. And I said that to someone who loved the series and they almost wanted to pummel me to death. And I was just like, what? And they're like, everything is wrong. Like literally everything is wrong. And I was just like, oh, I didn't realize. And then it went on every list of being one of the worst movies ever, blah, blah, blah. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, I guess it's not really that good of a movie if you think about it. And then Zion, who might still be watching, who loves, she binge watched Airbender in a week and a half. She just blew through the series. I'm in the middle of the series. I'm in the 2nd season.
I just started season 3.
So yeah, we just I'm literally like 2nd or 3rd episode in the 2nd season. And I started watching it because she's like, I want you to watch this so bad. And I was just like, you know what? Fine, I'll watch it. So me and my wife are watching it. We're watching it like 1 or 2 episodes a day. She's like, come on. But it's very, very good. But yeah, the M Night thing was just, what the heck was that?
To give you like a couple of ideas, CP, like, in the movie, they need to have fire. They can't make fire.
Yeah.
Exact opposite. Like you could just be like, boom, fire. Like, why change that? You made it less interesting.
Earthbenders in the show literally can like go and like raise crap up like 50 feet in the air. And it's the one point where the guy goes like this and falls in the ground, and the ground transports him up to the top of where he wanted to go. Right. So like that's how much control they can have. In the movie, it took like 6 guys going like with all their effort to move like 1 rock. Yeah, it's just like what is that?
Just the decisions are just like every step of the way. It's let's make it less interesting, and then there's the fact that like on the show, 2 characters are very clearly some kind of Inuit or something like
Inuit.
that. But then in the movie, they're white.
Yeah.
And then in the show, the bad guy's kind of white. In the movie, he's Indian. It's like, why are you making the good guys white and the bad guys like? Why are you doing that? Why you do that?
Hollywood.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
In the show, like the bad guy is kind of Asian-y.
Yeah,
like more Asian, definitely more Asian.
But they're also colonists. Like they're very literally colonizing the world. So it's like an amalgamation of the West and East, which is interesting. That's the other thing about the show. Like it's very like. It's not easy to pin down what everyone's race is supposed to be until you like start going out of your way to flip the races like they do in the movie, and then you're drawing attention to it, and then it becomes awkward.
Yeah.
See, I lost all respect for M. Night when I heard him speak about his own film.
Oh, which one?
Tim from the Late Reviews later. Tim, good buddy Tim, who is enjoying life right now. Tim,
great guy, great musician.
Got a girlfriend. He was hiking last week or something. Really,
loved him.
He's doing good.
If you're talking to Tim, tell him I say hi.
I haven't spoken to him. I just see pictures that he's going hiking with his girl. It's good to see Tim doing well.
Good for him.
He made all my bearded movie guy music for me.
Yeah, Tim's world class people. Anywho, we're in a premiere where M. Night's in so they're premiering it in 2 theaters. M. Night's in one of the theaters for one showing, and then comes and chats to our house when the movie's over at ours. And I told Tim, I said, just sit down. I want to hear what he has to say here, because he was talking to there was other way popular YouTubers that were they were vlogging it or something like that. Boyfriend versus girlfriend. That's who it is. We were there. It's whatever. So we watched
you the boyfriend or the girlfriend?
Yeah. Yes. All of the above.
Ooh.
The Visit.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That was what it was called a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So, the grandparents are going senile and they're starting to lose their shit. The audience is in tears, laughing, and both Tim and I look at each other like, are we in the right movie? Is this the way it's supposed to be? This is scary. This is depressing. This
white people rapping is terrifying.
It was like just this weird. I didn't know how I felt, because I felt like I was we were the crazy ones, because they were making fun of Alzheimer's and the characteristics of Alzheimer's, and everybody was laughing at what seniors, they're so dumb. And then M. Night comes in and he's talking about how the young kids are experiencing their grandparents, and he wants them to think that they're above them, and how stupid and silly the grandparents are. And I'm like, dude, that's the way you wrote that? Like, and what? And you got the response you wanted? This is bullshit.
Yeah.
M. Night has I don't know what studying he did about Alzheimer's or old people, but he totally I really need to watch it again, because it was such a weird, it was a comedy if you were in the theater we were in, but it's not. It's like
not supposed to be.
It's like a vague horror, but he made the older people punchlines, and he admitted to it, and it was just like, what?
My thing about that movie is you're an inch away from a legitimately great M. Night Shyamalan style twist that would actually have meaning and weight and make this movie interesting, and kind of play into the fact that it's found footage. When the big twist at the end is there's actually nothing wrong with the grandparents. They're just old, and that's terrifying to these little kids. And you don't play it up for laughs. You just play up the reality of how, mean aging can be at times, and younger generations not being able to handle that. And you use the found footage footage as like a way to be their perspective on
exactly.
This. Your movie is infinitely better, but instead, oh man, old man poop his pants. It's scary.
Yeah.
No.
I
do remember that that's not their grandparents, though, right?
No, old people.
Yeah, the other thing, you know, like
whatever.
I'm sorry.
I think I said grandparents. I have a theory that seems to prove itself every now and again that filmmakers, especially when they have a really good first or second film, they're just putting decades of their ideas into something.
Yeah.
And you know, of course it was a great movie. The guy's been planning this and tweaking it for 20 years. And that's how I feel about M. Night. M. Night, I think, accidentally became a big deal with Red Doorknob, Sixth Sense. And then ever since then, it, you know,
Red Doorknob and I want to paint it black.
Unbreakable, neat.
Unbreakable was his best movie.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I think it was great, and then Glass happened, and we're not going to talk about that.
Right. But it's just strange that the man who had the same tone in Unbreakable and Sixth Sense made
Waterbender.
No.
Or Airbender.
He made The Happening. He made Fuck Critics, also known as Lady in the Water. Like it's just so strange how his career has played out.
I don't hate Lady in the Water, surprisingly. I don't.
Really?
It has some moments. I do get some of the subtext of being like the critics, and then he makes himself the savior of the world. I'm like, really, dude? You're gonna just cast yourself in that when you're not even an actor. But the interplay between Paul Giamatti and what's her name, Dallas Bryce Howard, I think is really good. I think their little story, apart from all the other subject crap that he puts in it, I actually really like. And I got it for 98 cents on Blu-ray.
Oh, wow.
And from Blu-ray, that's a good deal. Okay,
Blu-ray for 98 cents. I was just like, screw it, 98 cents, I'll buy that.
So here's the thing that always gets me about M. Night, and especially Lady in the Water, is like just look at the timeline. In the 90s, he had a handful of movies here and there that he wrote, like, you know, little credits here and there. Like he wrote Stuart Little. Fun fact, people, that doesn't come up very much. But then, you know, Sixth Sense, when it's like, bam, I'm here. Look at me. I'm a movie making man. And everyone's like, you are a movie making man, because that's a good movie you made, man. And then he made Unbreakable, and everyone's like, oh my god, this is also like a really good movie. And they both made a lot of money. I think they both grossed over $1 billion. And then Signs, which was good, critically well received. Really I like it, and I think it made even more money than Unbreakable did. And then there's The Village, which is just kind of okay at best. Some people really liked it. Some people didn't really. It divided people. It didn't make it. It still made a lot of money. It didn't make as much money, but it still made a lot, and it divided. Wait, hold on one second.
Village. Oh yeah, okay, go ahead.
So that was his track record. Great movie, pretty good movie, mixed movie. And then he went and made Lady in the Water. That's his testament to saying, y'all don't understand me. My teachings are incredible and critics are evil. Great movie, good movie, mixed movie. Fuck you, critics.
Yeah. I think, especially with, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you on that. What I was going to say is, it was the problem with The Village. I actually don't mind The Village.
There's a lot of good moments in The Village, actually. A lot of great cinema, just like visuals and sound. Like there's a lot of good stuff in it. Yeah.
The problem with The Village is, at that point, everyone was on to the magic trick of the twist. So everyone's watching, going, where's the twist going to come? Where's it going? Is it that? Is it that? And then when it was what it was in The Village, he was like, that's stupid. It was just like, if no one had ever heard of him before and The Village came out, I think it probably would have done okay. And I think people wouldn't talk about it. I think people would have talked about it when it came out and said, yeah, it had this really interesting twist. And then it would have disappeared out of pop culture, and it would have been a thing that people go, yeah, maybe that was all right. But because it was It was like he had 3 movies that were all big and had twisty endings. Everyone's like looking for that twist, and then it just they didn't appreciate it the same way because they're like, it's not. It's interesting. Yeah, okay, whatever. And then, and then he just went off Avatar. Like, what the? And nothing in his filmography up until before Avatar pointed that he could make a big budget special effects film. Like, right? Like,
not really.
There's no special effects, like, other than a few. Unbreakable, nothing at all. So
maybe some green screening for
but like, I mean, like, big special effects where it's like,
did you guys see Stuart Little? That mouse was not real.
Right. Like, there's like all his movies were very, very reality based, like, where it wasn't fantastical.
He's a bit of a studio darling. Look, I can this is what I want to do, and I could do it for you for $10 million.
Right. Yeah.
And they're like, all right.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, do you want a giant, big budget, special effects driven movie? And it's like, yes, I do. And it's like, why, man? You haven't done that before. And it's, maybe you want to start with something a little bit smaller that doesn't have giant waves and massive, like, ships and guys bending water. It's like,
I get worried about what's his face from Whiplash.
J.K. Simmons.
No, not J.K. Simmons, the director.
Damien Chazelle, because he made a short that essentially was a 30-minute version of Whiplash. Mm-hmm. They gave him money. He went and did La La Land. Yeah. And then what was it? Ad Astra after that? No, First Man.
First Man? Ad Astra. And that was...
First Man was okay. It was a little slow.
Yeah. I've heard it's okay.
Yeah, and I think we're on the same arc as Mr. Knight.
Well, Knight did it to himself in a lot of ways. Like, we put him on that pedestal of, after 2 movies, motherfucker, you're the new Spielberg, and that's
actually that's not what they called him. You know what they actually called him?
The next Spielberg.
No, the next Hitchcock.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's what they used to call him. Because his movies are all about suspense and twists, and like, so, like, they literally, like, he's the next Hitchcock, which is the same title I've heard thrown around at Peele. Which, again, he's done 2 movies. I like both of them. Slow the fuck down.
Right, exactly.
But but that's the same thing they tagged him on it. Oh, he's the new master of suspense. He's like, you have a movie where it's all about a guy who's dead, but you don't know it. You got a movie about a guy who's a superhero who doesn't know it. It's like, and they tagged him with the Hitchcock thing. And it was just like, nobody is Hitchcock. Hitchcock is Hitchcock. Leave that alone. And it's like...
So the one thing, where's Chauncey when you need her? The one thing I want to give credit to Jordan Peele is Jordan Peele has opened up. Well, I mean, this is now mandatory if you want your films considered for Oscars. He's opened up films to characters that don't look the same. Right. Like Us can be a movie full of white people, and it would be no different.
It didn't change. Yeah,
it was a mixed cast.
It could be all Asian people.
Right. And there was nothing. Right. Exactly. There was nothing about it where you're like, oh, that they're definitely black. They're definitely white. They're definitely this. It was a mixed cast, and there was nothing about their characteristics that stated that. So I hope that Jordan Peele at least gets credit for starting that, because. I mean, obviously, Get Out. You kind of needed.
Get Out was a. It is funny because Get Out was a very race-based film.
Right. Obviously,
it hinged around race.
Right.
And that's fine, and that's awesome because he had a story to tell. Mm-hmm. And I've talked to you guys, and I still have yet to really sit down with someone who's a film person. You guys might want to talk to Chelsea about that. Sorry,
Chauncey.
Not Chelsea. Chauncey, sorry. About, like, I've mentioned it to a couple of my friends, and I mentioned to you guys before, is like, what was he saying this or was he saying this? For me, was he saying, like, are these very racist white people, or is this because very racist people wouldn't want to be like, if you're a racist, last thing you'd want to be is become a black person because you hate black people. So it's like you think they're beneath you. Last thing you want to do is switch your body so that you're now a black person. So I'm like, I don't think it was that the fact they were racist in that way. I think it was the ultimate form of slavery, because they're literally taking that person's body. And back in the day, it would have been, we're taking your skill or we're taking your labor. Now we're taking your very body and suppressing your soul.
There's a lot of different layers to that movie like that.
Yeah, there's tons of, I'm a nobody, so I'm never going to get to sit down with Jordan Peele. I would love to sit down with him for 20 minutes and go, dude, what were you? Was this what you were trying to say, or was this what you were trying to say? It's like.
Are you talking about Dice? Dice. Hi, Dice. Are you talking about Get Out or Us?
Yeah, Get Out.
Shit, because Us, he explains. Us, the special features on the disc, he explains a lot of what he was doing. It's really like, if you want to know more about Us, he really, I think it's like a half an hour of special features. Remember those special features on Blu-ray?
Special features on Blu-ray.
See, what's my special features for $30 when I get Mulan, huh?
Has anybody
Get Out? Get Out, I think, is like, is this the ultimate form of slavery? Now, I'm a white guy in Canada, so I'm going to have a different opinion of that than a black person anywhere.
From America?
Especially
from America.
From America in particular.
Yeah.
And I've talked with some of my black friends who have, like, one of my guys was like, I never thought of that. And I was like, okay, cool. What do you think? And he's like, yeah, because I think you're right. So, but I've never had a chance to talk with someone who's very cinematic, who's into movies like we're in the movies, right? So who's very into film culture, and steeped in the tradition and stuff like that. So, I thought was very good. I thought it raised a ton of questions. I think part of it you just have to go with it, because I started poking holes in it really hard. Going,
it's not.
But this doesn't make sense with this.
Sure.
And then I'm just like, okay, if I start doing that, it loses.
It's flawed.
What I think it's trying to say.
But he's a proficient director. I
thought it was well made. It was really well made. I think the story aspect, you either accept it or you just have to throw everything out, because there's so much there that I'm like, because like the simplest thing, I was like, wait a minute. So she was all those people were at the boardwalk. But if she lives 200 miles away from the boardwalk, do they walk in the tunnels 200 miles and stay where they are? And I'm confused. Like, but they're always at the boardwalk, even if she's living in Wisconsin now. And I'm like, and like, there's so much questions for that kind of stuff. But I'm just like, it's not the point of the movie. The point of the movie is this. The point of the movie is like, and I was like, cool. I think it's really well done. It's really well made, really well acted. I think if you don't allow the concept to just be the concept, it falls. If you start nitpicking it too much, it falls apart really fast.
Well, I mean, just on that logic, just real quickly, like, why does time inversion exist within Tenet? I spent the entire movie waiting for an in-universe justification for why someone would build this outside of, it'd be really cool in a movie.
Well, it exists. It exists because the person in the future made the algorithm, discovered the algorithm, or made the algorithm, and then wanted to get rid of it. But the people in the future were sending it back through time because they wanted to manipulate it and they wanted to use it for their own benefit. I've heard some things, like, Zion sent me a video and we were watching it, and I was like, after 10 minutes, I turned it off because I'm like, he's got everything wrong. Like, this guy, I don't think we're watching the same movie, because he's just like this. Like, he thinks Max.
And then Jordan Peele showed up.
He thought this guy was like Max the kid, the kid in the movie.
Yeah.
That she's trying to get to, like her.
Yeah. It took me a second, but I don't think he actually appears on screen. They just talk about him, right?
No, he does. He does.
Oh, does he?
She picks him up at the thing, like she hugs him and stuff. Right. He's very limited screen time. It literally, the guy was like, "Oh, Max is actually Neil, grown up." I'm like, what? Like, that doesn't.
Right.
We would have to go find one of the machines and then travel back literally decades to be aged properly. I'm like, this makes no sense.
Dude,
I do want to see that movie, though, where someone spent decades just walking. Like,
walking backwards.
Let me get there eventually.
Technically, that's what the main character has to do, right? The protagonist, he would have to go decades or like possibly a decade in the past inversion because of that end scene where he's like, yeah, we haven't, yet. It's like that means he has to go deep into the past to do that crap. So that's a whole nother movie, and I'd pay to see that one too if he wants to make it. I don't think he will.
Yeah, I think. Well, going back to Peele, I think you're right in the regard that I don't think he's earned the keys to the kingdom just yet. No, he's proficient.
2 solid movies. Like,
yeah,
he's a good filmmaker.
Yeah,
I have nothing bad to say, and I don't have anything bad to say about him at all. I know we've had stuff in the past with stuff, and
you need Brian for that. Brian.
Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about Jordan Peele as a filmmaker. I think he's very, very good. For 2, like he's 2 for 2 in good films.
Yeah,
interesting films that are saying something, even if like some of them like don't like if you start questioning this and questioning that. But lots of films.
That's all right. Lots of
they don't hold up on this, but he's saying something, and he's saying something interesting, and yeah, I'm thrilled to see someone who's black making science fiction horror movies because that's what they basically are.
That speaks to everybody. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Targeted at.
This is only for white people. This is only for black people.
Exactly.
This is not Tyler Perry's sci-fi horror. No, this is a smart, like he's a smart director, and like for someone who's like Get Out being his first film, really impressive. That's his second film. Again, I thought it was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really well made. Again, things don't set up, but it still says something.
Let me
like the fact he's saying something.
Let me repair / walk back what we were just saying a second ago. We're not trying to say that people should not be making movies for specific audiences.
No.
It's better now that you don't have to be minimalized to shoot for a tiny audience. It's better now that you can make a movie and spread outward. If that sounded odd, it wasn't intended for English. I'm words gooding.
No. Like there are movies that are clearly made for certain audiences of whatever.
Sure. Like, I mean, you can say the same thing about white people and
Hallmark movies are not made for me. Hallmark movies. That's not a race thing. That's just they're not made for me. Mm-hmm. I've never seen a Medea movie, and it's not because I don't like black people. I just don't like those type of movies. Like, dude, about that kind of character.
Larry the Cable Guy, I almost guarantee you would fall like a brick with most black audiences.
And it's like I don't think there's anything racist in any way about either one of those things.
It's taste. It's taste.
It's culture and taste, and it's all cool. I'm good with everything.
Yeah.
In that respect, there's certain things I like, but it's not because anyone's a color. It's because that's not my kind of comedy. That's not my kind of this. It's not that.
Exactly.
So I definitely,
I know you meant it, Peter. I just want to make sure that everybody else. Oh, they're talking about narrowing. I just wanted to make sure that was out there.
Come at me, bro. No, just don't come at me. I love everybody.
Yeah, it does. Lindsay, you've been a little quiet. Let me ask you something.
Let your guest kind of take the reins. What's up, though, dude?
Well, no, I in regards to what we were just saying, I'll kind of point this to you because.
How many Tyler Perry movies have you seen?
Chunks of 3.
Chunks.
Never an entire one, but I've seen various bits and biddles here.
What's that movie he made that's really bad? That's like him as an action guy.
Oh, with Matthew Fox, right?
Yes, with the worst fight scene ever. That one didn't count.
Oh, right.
And
he's a good actor. I really liked him as Colin Powell in Vice.
No, Gone Girl, he was fine in Gone
Girl. He's great. He's phenomenal in his Gone Girl.
I respect him as a businessman. I've heard him talk about his thing about just make a movie. I respect that so much. Yeah. I wish his movies didn't suck, but I respect the hell out of that like work ethic and that like dedication. Yeah. That's very good stuff.
So I guess I'll open it up to both of you, but I want to start with you, Lindsay, because somebody who's very close to me that I don't want to name just for, I didn't get permission to name names, has said things in the past like, why do LGBTQ plus have to be, named together and have material created together? Mm-hmm. The only thing that they have we have in common is our taste in sex. It has nothing to do with, a feel-good story about a man saving something or a woman, whatever, saving the day on a train. Just because we have representation, just because of representation, because this person also used to go to LGBTQ plus bars and like communities, and this person would say, well, the only thing we had in common was we were gay. We were in the same, we had the same affinity. It's like us, the three of us are straight. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about how much we like that, what's great about being straight. So why does representation when it comes to LGBTQ have to be about LGBTQ?
Well, because it's a marginalized group that.
But the same thing could be said for Black people.
Yeah, and that's why there's the similar push for a more Black voices in film and stuff like that. Where it's I think people are kind of taking the Oscar thing kind of out of context because it's actually not as white sweeping as. Oh no, I'm not saying
it was a coincidence that this was part of the news.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing up that it's like, no one's saying like, oh, you can't make a movie about a white straight guy anymore. Just like, can we get a movie about something else? Like can the something else not be the outlier? Can we get more? Can it be more mainstream to have stories that are less, nuclear family by design? I guess, if that makes sense. I feel like there was words that had meaning that I thought would come together in my head, but then saying them out loud, they sounded hollow.
Well, nuclear family, I don't think that word is that word is deteriorated. It doesn't have the same meaning anymore.
Well, I mean, to you and me, no. It's like, certain parts of America, everyone's like nuclear, but.
Well, yeah. What is it? 50? Are we at 50% yet? I think every marriage doesn't half or 40% of every marriage doesn't make it.
Most
end in divorce, you mean?
Yeah. Right. That's not nuclear. That's nuclear.
Have you heard of a husband and a wife arguing across the street? Trust me, it gets nuclear, my friend.
It gets hot, man. It gets very nuclear.
Yeah. The idea of the perfect family sitting around the table playing, checkers while eating macaroni and cheese. That's just, that's not the thing anymore. There's so much going on now that we've. That was generations ago, Daddy-O. Things are different.
Yeah, there's I have feelings about it, but would you like to hear them?
By all means, go ahead.
But I don't want to jump before Lindsay was going.
No, are you going to offend somebody?
No. Basically, just wrap up my thought. It's just it's not that. You're absolutely right that the family dynamic is changing. It would be nice if that was more mainstream within film, or not like films like Avengers Endgame, which is one of the few, if any, direct references to, actual gay or lesbian characters or anything like that, and it's a scene that's literally meant to be edited out of China. Like they shot the scene with the intention of lifting that out for the international release. It's like when they're not doing that, then I don't think there'll be such a cry for it. When it's like actually like a part of something. Like that's
I feel like if you make a movie and there's a lot of parts of this country that really need to catch up with the times and understand that, not everything's going to kill you. I think if we can get away with a movie that is presented as a rom-com and it's, how to lose Ron and Steve in 10 days. And it's just a rom-com about two guys who are trying to hook up. And it's just, boring. By all just your run of the mill shitty fucking rental movie night, rom-com, but it's just two gay characters. I think once we get to the point where like, all right, it's a rom-com, and it's not it's a gay movie. I think once we get there. Maybe we can worry about the next thing. Why aren't more dogs represented in films? God.
Well, I mean, what was it? Those those Dog's Journey Way Home movie last year, where like a dog supposedly drowned, but then didn't drown, but then apparently did drown, but then it didn't. I never really got did a dog die in that movie? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I swear there was like a back and forth about whether or not that dog died.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What was that movie? Was it a sequel or was it a first one? I can't remember.
I think it was A Dog's Purpose.
Dog's Purpose.
To die. That's what its purpose is.
Yeah.
to die. To make the audience sad. That's your purpose. That's like the most evil thing anyone's ever said to a dog, probably. No, I don't want you to be cute, puppy. I want you to die.
Yeah. There's a movie I bought for the girls, which I've never watched, called The Adventures of Milo and Otis.
Oh, I remember that movie.
Mm-hmm. And apparently, I've never watched it. I bought it on Blu-ray for $5 years ago for my daughters. They've never watched it. Apparently, Milo and Otis die several times during the filming of that movie. Like, they killed like a bunch of puppies and kittens that all looked the same to get the shots they needed. So I was just like, when they hit a certain age, and I was, like they actually killed them. Like they just let them die to get the shot and then just move on and get another.
I don't think there's a definitive number, but on like the body count, but
it's several. It's not like, one dog died. It's like, no, they had a bunch of Milos and a bunch of Otises, and they, so.
Number one is too many. Haha.
Yes. So they they've never seen it, and I'm like, when they hit the age, I was like, I'm fine with them never seeing it once I found that out. So it's in my collection, but I'll probably never watch it.
I also love how I think it's Never Ending Story. There's like an online debate of, okay, did they kill that horse? Like, like whether like that's another.
It looked like he was dying.
Well, I mean, just like there was like an online rumor or something like that. Like the horse, like something went wrong, and the horse actually did drown.
Dogs don't go to heaven. Culture Trinity, that's awesome.
Dude, oof, man, the hell scene in that movie was when I was a kid. I was like, oh, this is metal. Like I don't know what metal means, but whatever it means, this is it.
Oh man, that just totally ruined my.
Sorry, bud.
Well, that's the other thing too. It's so strange. I can watch a movie with somebody, and they can watch 5 people get mowed down.
You kill a dog. Oh,
yeah.
The public hates that crap.
If you fictionally kill a dog that gets treats after the take, they can't handle it.
I remember trying to watch a movie called Armors Pereira or something. It's a very famous movie. It's in like the top 250 of IMDb, and it's like about dog fighting, and I couldn't handle watching it. I was just like, nope, I'm good. I don't need to see a movie about dogs killing each other. And they're like, but it's a great film. I'm like, that's
Story or something.
I don't need to see it. So,
things that are not good, man, and like animals being forced to kill each other for our pleasure is definitely one of them.
It's definitely one of them.
Where do we go? What's happening? We've made a horrible turn.
You want my hot topic really scandalous views.
Oh yeah. You never got that out. Sorry.
Yeah. So we're talking nuclear family. That's one thing. I do think there's you could say the word attack, but I think there is a great lack of good father figures in movies. Like fathers, I think in movies are generally either a joke,
dead,
or they're stupid, or they're dead. Like how often, like how many great film fathers have they made in the last 20 years? And if they make one, they Pa Kent they kill off with that tornado. It's like, it's how many. So it's like
what was that version of Pa Kent a good father? I mean,
I think we don't need to get it. He loved his son.
More often than not, the father character is like the character that's there to help our protagonist rebel against and achieve their goals. Like, I'm going to show you, and
it's really As a father, this came to a culmination when I literally, I think I've told you this before, but there's a stupid Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie or something like that, and it's like there's a whole twist where it's like this guy is going to a new school and he's getting in trouble with his brother, and then midway through you find out his brother's dead, and so he's literally seeing his brother and talking to his brother constantly. His brother's dead, and then when the mom comes in and talks to him about it, she goes, "You've never been the same." When I said, "Since your father flaked and then your brother died, you've had problems since your brother died." And it's like, hold on, it didn't matter that his father flaked and just left, and that's fine. That didn't cause anyone in the family problems.
Yeah.
But then the brother died, and now I was like, "Is fathers mean that little?" That's my problem, because I am a father. I think I have no problem with two women who are in a relationship. Let's preface it. I'm Christian, so people love throwing bad stuff down us. I have no problem if a lesbian couple is raising a son or daughter, right? Two parents that love someone is better than one not.
Fucking A.
If you can add that one in there, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I do think fathers are important. I think men who are fathers are important. But that's not saying if two women can, or just I think mothers are important. Two men can raise a little girl. That doesn't mothers are important, fathers are important. So I think there is an attack to a degree on fatherhood and men in that respect.
It has something to do with this paternal nature that's just embedded in history, isn't it? Like men have to take care of everything and hunt and whatever.
If you just go back through all the sitcoms of our youth and stuff, how many dads are good guys that are on the ball? It's always, oh, dad's an idiot, and it's mom's doing everything, and it's and it's just everybody loves Raymond, Tim the Two Man Taylor. It's you go down the list of all dads are always idiots, and so that's one thing. So I'm not thrilled with that. That's going in culture. Let's flip it to the other thing you were talking about, representation. Representation, I think, is important. I think I would love to get to where you're talking about, CP. I don't know what's so funny, but what was so funny?
This is hunt. God bless. Because I said men have to hunt.
Yes. We hunt. We kill things.
I go to the supermarket and I hunt my macaroni and cheese.
Yes. I'm a hunter-gatherer. I mainly gather.
I gather Blu-rays and hunt steaks.
I did see it. I saw a thing that was a tweet that said I had a friend whose brother was named Hunter, but he was a vegan, so we started calling him Gatherer.
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
I'm just oh, that's good. So okay, so the general thing usually when Christians, people talk about it's I'm not to say whether homosexuality is good, bad, or indifferent in that respect. It's sinful, not sinful. I'm not going there. Right? There's a lady at my work who I work for a Christian organization, we'll call it, who is Christian, who's one of those church lady Christians, right? And she was talking about this TV show where the main actress is, I think it was Batwoman, and she's like, well, they've made the main character gay, and I was like, yeah, and no, I know I haven't read the comic, but I know in the comic she's gay. And so she just goes, well, they're trying to push their agenda down our throats, and I'm just like, okay, well, I said, well, like, I'm like, I don't know what the percentage of gay people are in the world anymore. I don't, like, at one point they said it was this much, and I was like, okay, so say it's like 10%. I don't know if that's accurate, so I'm not if it's 15% or if it's 8%. I don't mean to offend.
They're definitely a minority.
They're definitely, like, there are way more straight people. Like, if you want to look it up, like, Lindsay, there's way more straight people than gay people. That's not slam on gay people. It's just a reality.
I mean, shit, I stole one.
Yeah, yes, you did. It's like, you took a lesbian.
Wrong team.
How did you do that? I don't understand. But I salute you, but not because it's a bad thing.
I actually have a vagina.
Yeah.
Don't say that on stream. Someone will record that. You'll get that played.
That's going to come back so many times. Right. So, okay. So, saying all that, right? Like, I said to her, I said, well, say 5% of the world is gay. I said, so if you have 100 superheroes, if you want to have any kind of actual, I know superheroes aren't reality, but if you're trying to depict reality, 5 of them out of the 100 should be gay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. At least 5. So you can't say, well, none of them can. Well, why? We're trying to, like, reality is there are gay people. Reality is there, like, just like there are black people. And gay people and black people are not the same. One is race, one is a sexual orientation. But trying to represent what reality is on film, I am all for. Yeah. So there are gay stories, right? Moonlight. I haven't seen Moonlight yet. It's on my list.
Very good.
I've been told it's really good.
Yeah.
Many things on my list.
You know what?
I've watched gay films, but that's just one I haven't gotten to yet. Go ahead, Steve. I'm
going to go backwards. Tangerine.
I've seen Tangerine.
Tangerine is a movie about two transgender prostitutes.
Yeah,
right?
Shot on an iPhone, I believe.
And shot on an iPhone. That's right.
Yeah,
didn't it win like something for cinematography too? Good for it.
Yeah, not really. It's just a movie about these two. It's almost like
there's very little of yes, this is what we are, and like it's
grungy. It's grungy LA. It reminds me of what's his face who directed Boyhood. It's a very Linklater feeling movie where you're just spending a day with these people. I'm not saying it's like
they did the same guy did the Florida Project, which I haven't seen.
Oh, really? Okay.
I believe so. I believe the same guy directed Florida Project.
So I'm going to take 2 steps back and say something like Tangerine is a movie that represents without really.
Yeah, without like. There's
about it. Yeah.
I have 2 minds on this that are the same mind, but so I think there should be gay characters and bi characters and transgender characters and all this kind of stuff that show up in things on what you would consider mainstream things because that's the reality of the world. Right. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to do a show where it's about 6 friends and they're all bisexual, okay, that also happens in the world, but that's going to cater to a bisexual audience or a gay audience more than it would to a straight audience, especially in the middle America. But that's fine. It's the same thing as Medea caters to more black people than it would white people, especially in middle America. Again, if you go to middle America, the Bible Belt and stuff, right? Like so I think it's important for those stories to be told because those people exist. Their story should be told, right? At the same time, I'm totally on board. So, like, I think that. I don't know if you guys have seen Pride. Do you guys know the movie? Okay, do yourself a favor, watch Pride. Pride is it's based on a true story about in the 80s, a group of gays and lesbians decided to collect money for the miners in Wales. The miners were on strike, and they they're like this group of like this small group of, they were called Lesbians and Gay Support the Minors. Were out with buckets collecting change, and then wanted to give it to the miners, and the miners said no. Like the miners guild, like union, the union was like, no, thank you. So they bypassed and went, let's just pick a town in Wales. And they came and picked up the check. And then when the guy realized what they were, invited them to the town, and they end up like becoming friends with the town, and the town, like they end up becoming one with the town. Like the town ends up loving them, and they end up like, it's amazing. And the end scene makes me cry every freaking time. And it's never made me, my dad's Welsh. I've never been more proud to be Welsh in my life from the end of that movie. Right. So that's a gay story. That's a story about minors and gay people.
Yeah.
Right? That's fine. Tell those stories. Tell stories.
Sure.
Especially if they happened, this happened. So that's one thing. And then there's the other thing where you have gay characters, but it's not, this is the only thing about me. I'm a straight man, but this isn't at my core the most important thing about me. Right?
Right.
Why is being gay the most important thing about a character? It shouldn't be. It should be, that's one aspect of, like, Lindsay is a straight guy. You're a white guy. You're a certain height. You live where you live. Like, there's like 25,000 different things that define Lindsay. Why is his straightness being the only important thing that is like, this is the most important thing that defines me?
Right. Stories, especially in filmmaking, storytelling, like Rounders. It's a movie about poker. If they were all gay, it wouldn't matter. If they were all, it's a great movie about poker. Matt Damon's girlfriend could be Steve Buscemi. It wouldn't matter. The fucking story is about poker and how deep he gets into it. That's it. Like the characters, you know, if the characteristics of what their preferences play into the story, then so be it. But
so I don't know if you guys have seen The Wire. The Wire.
I haven't. I have yet to fucking watch.
It's one of the greatest TV shows ever. The Wire.
I know, it's just sitting there on the shelf, like, hey, anytime you're ready, buddy.
It's so good. It's about a bunch of detectives and a bunch of drug dealers, and there are straight characters, mostly straight characters, but there's some gay characters, some that are drug dealers, some that are cops. It follows some of the cops, and it follows their lives. So you see them go home to their wife. One of the detectives is gay, so you see her go home to her wife, right? There's never a thing made about it that it's where we're following him.
Yeah.
We're following her. Hers is not more important than his. His is not more important than hers. It's just the reality of what it was. So that I love.
Do you guys think that? Excuse me, I'm sorry. Do you guys think that it's a studio issue or it's a writer issue? Because I think a writer, as long as their story's getting made, I would imagine they wouldn't really care about too much about. I
think it's more of a studio issue.
Yeah.
I think there are probably some writers who are like, this must be a white character. This must be. Like, and for certain characters that makes sense, right? Like you can't film Get Out and have the girlfriend be black.
Sure.
It's like that doesn't make sense. It's like,
well, let's just say somebody, you know, they come forward with Rounders and they're like, that doesn't really matter. The characters can be whatever, and Miramax says, no, we need Matt Damon, Gretchen Mol. Can we get Cameron Diaz to be a dealer? And it's just like, what? No, it doesn't. No, it's just a fucking poker. The movie's about poker. Stop Cameron Diaz. What the fuck?
Yeah. No, it's also remember that like no one ever comes up and says like, why was Moonlight not about a straight guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, imagine being in that community.
Yeah.
And like those movies coming out and they're telling stories that you finally relate to, and you kind of finally start feeling that connection to stuff, and people's responses are, it's like, so on the nose with the casting. Like, they're just trying to push a message. Like, that's the thing you need to keep in mind. Like from your perspective, it's like, it's like here's an example for me. Star Trek Picard. has these two lady characters that don't have a line of dialogue together the entire show. One of them has a history, like a straight up history of dating men.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the final shot of the show, they're suddenly holding hands. And I'm not annoyed that you're making these characters into each other. I'm annoyed at the fact that it's completely out of left field. It was not set up in any way. And again, for the Chinese markets, you can probably edit it out.
Yeah.
The issue comes down to is like we're talking about groups that have always felt like the outcasts. And I think we need to stop doing that. We need to welcome, and I'm not saying you guys are like rejecting the stories or anything like that, but the moment you start questioning the stories of like, well, why did you make the choice to do this? Why did you have to be this on the nose about this? While movies like The Fast and the Furious get to just be a celebration of machismo in of itself, and nobody's like, oh, it's so machismo. Oh, why is it more gay? Or actually, some people do say that there's hidden subtext of it being gay, but that's a whole other subject in it. We just need to stop looking at it as just like we just need to look at it as stories, like and stop looking at it unless it's like, you know, straight up propaganda, like she's freaking Dinesh D'Souza or something, you know. Well, a movie's representation is never the reason why a movie's bad. Like Black Christmas 2019 is not a bad movie because it's so girl oriented. It's a bad movie because it's poorly written. It had 2 months to write, then a month to shoot, and then the third act is magic out of nowhere. Terminator.
It's message first. It is.
Yeah, but like
Me Too.
But you're ignoring. But by just focusing on that, you're ignoring the nightmare that was the production. That they okay, June, go. And by the end of July, it's shot and in the can, and then they need to release it.
No, I don't dispute that. Where's your rush? Why?
Jason Blum.
Okay, so, I'm not trying to pick fights with you, Lindsay, but Jason Blum has been very, very patient with a movie that got pushed back.
Well, you're not.
That is done.
In this case, like I've read up on this quite a bit. They was like, hey, we need a movie released by December. Can you do that? Cool. Here's the money. Go do it. You have 2 months. Was basically the story of that movie's production. Like there's like little like fine details. Obviously, I don't have because I'm not the director. I'm not the writer. But like you watch that movie and you don't think about Black Christmas. You watch that movie and you think of Us because Us came out while they were writing it because it just came out that year.
Right. Well. So do you think, regardless of the overarching theme, do you think a line like "It's your body, it's your choice" really isn't just fucking just shoving that square peg into the round hole?
I mean, it depends.
When they say stuff like that,
if it was a better made movie, it could have worked. It really could have. Like, we're not talking about like X-Men, Dark Phoenix, where they give away the punchline of their joke in the same sentence. Where
Lindsay, I'm with you. I think they call themselves the gamer community. It's the anti-SJW wing of YouTube. I agree with you on about 8, maybe 9 out of 10 times when they're overreacting. But I think Black Christmas was just too much.
And here's part of the problem. I was going to list like 3 other movies after Black Christmas, and instead of talking about like how Terminator Date isn't a bad movie because so many lady characters, that's a bad movie because no one cares about Terminator anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Right. It wasn't just
movie.
Captain Marvel just was meh. That's it. Captain Marvel was just meh.
Captain Marvel was an okay movie. That's not because it was about a woman.
Right. The worst music drop ever. I hate that scene so much where they just start playing like you're gonna have a scene that's built around a song, and this fight scene starts. In Captain Marvel, sorry, the Just a Girl. Like the scene starts with someone getting punched into a jukebox, and this built around that song. How freaking dare you not have that jukebox start playing "I'm Just a Girl"? I that's such a failure of filmmaking. I hate it.
Sorry. If you're gonna kind of push that narrative, again, I don't like that movie in particular. Again, I know we have a lot of history with that movie. I don't think it's okay because Brie Larson, I don't even think she gives a terrible performance. I think she gives a bit of a wooden one, but I think that's what they were asking her to give, because I've seen her in other movies and she's a talented actress.
Yeah.
So the director was like, yeah, cut. That was good. If he wanted something different, it was Man and a Woman, I believe, who directed them.
Yeah.
They should have gotten something different.
Yeah.
I think it's a boring ass movie for most of it. And
Sure.
like, it's very paint by numbers. I don't think that changes if you put a male in that role.
Right. Well, right. Exactly.
I don't think it changes at all if you put a man in that role and do everything identical. It was a guy who was
boring.
Like boring. It's just boring. It's not her. It's the script.
It's the movie. It's the incredible rush to make that character so important to the in between of your 2-part story. Like, I don't care.
Way sooner.
Like, what the fuck? Oh, yeah, by the way, I was busy while you guys were fighting for the last 2 hours. I'm here now, now that half of society's just gone.
It's in the Kevin Feige I saw a thing where
I was doing something way more busy than dealing with the dissolving
of the world.
It's very obvious that they came up with the idea of like Thanos' ship being destroyed by Captain Marvel flying through it, and that's freaking a great shot. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but,
it is.
Like, they reversed engineered it, and it's very obvious they reversed engineered.
Yeah.
And also, she had to wait to come in, because if she came in too soon, it's just like, well, everyone can go home. Captain Marvel's here. There's nothing to do. It's fine. Why does she need a bunch of women helping her? She really doesn't. She don't need anybody. She could do everything by herself.
Yeah,
that's how OP done that shot too. Like,
have you seen the Nando v movies thing about that?
No.
Okay, so the super quick thing is, he's like, Peter Parker has the gauntlet, and she comes up and gets it, and then they're like, the better way to do that whole shot with all the women is Nebula takes it. Nebula and Gamora decide to take it, because Thanos doesn't realize that Nebula's dead and that this is the different one. And he thinks when he sees her, he thinks it's his Nebula, right? She's just destroyed his freaking ship, so she's going to have no problem getting it to the thing. So what you say is, you go, she comes and goes, Nebula takes it and goes, we'll get it to there. And all the women go, we'll help her. And she goes, I'll go deal with him. And so she goes and fights Thanos, where all the women like football down the freaking field to get the thing to where it's supposed to go. And then Thanos sees Nebula and thinks she's bringing the gauntlet to him. And meanwhile, realizes she's not bringing the gauntlet to me, and feels all betrayed. Now, there's so much that would be so much better and so much more impactful than, I'll take it. It's fine. It's like all these women go, I'll help her. It's like, she doesn't need your help. She's Captain Marvel. She doesn't need anybody's help. It doesn't matter if Thor shows up. It's fine.
Yeah.
That would have been better.
The Avengers thing, like, you already passed the Bechdel test. Everybody was kind of on the same team. Why did you separate the team to, like, it was a really...
It was a reshoot. Like, it was
a girl power moment, and I thought it was cool. I also was like, how'd they all end up at the same place at the same time? But I'm like, I'm fine with it. It's a girl. I know little girls all over the world. They're like, and I was fine with it. It didn't bother me to that point. It bothered me, like, as a guy, not as a guy, but just as I'll get the same place at the same time. To hear that there's like battle going on, but it's a superhero movie. Screw that. But she didn't need anybody's help. And so if they'd done a thing where Nebula took it and Gamora took it and stuff, it could have been way more impactful. But that's Marvel. I'm going to say this about the whole representation thing. Right now, with the Oscars thing and all that stuff, right? Like, I think part of the problem is it's going to feel pigeonholed, where it's like, okay, guys, we have to make a movie. We need this many black characters, this many white characters, this many straight characters, this many, like, so we all tick boxes. Is that good? Not great. Here's what I'm hoping. We get to the point when it's just people stop worrying about it because it's already happening, and then it's not a thing, and then all of a sudden people are being cast because they're good actors, and it's like there's no like well, she shouldn't have got the role because she's not Latino enough. It's like,
right.
Right now, I understand that, yes, there are still people in Hollywood who are dumb enough to go, well, no, we can't have her be black because people won't understand her.
Yeah.
Because
America's really, really in a fucked place right now. Aaron dropped a $10 super chat. Thank you. He says, I could be wrong, but the media is doing everyone a disservice. I agree. Majority of us don't care for characters. Black, white, green, gay, straight. We just want to see a good movie, bottom line. I could not agree more. I would also say, I think some of us, everybody, needs to be challenged, even if it's just a little bit. You should, I don't think anybody should be looking into something that they 100% like and want. Because if you do that, you just become a zombie, and there's no challenging yourself. There's no way of figuring out, what's right, what's wrong, where you are as far as common sense is concerned. I'm not saying go out and watch movies you hate, but you should challenge yourself a little bit. I try to do that with news and stuff like that. I'm neither a Republican or a Democrat. I try to listen to both sides. Unfortunately, our president's fucking crazy. I don't care. Like, there's definitely things that I agree with Republicans on. This guy's nuts and he needs to go. There's no two ways about it. There's things that Democrats do that are fucking nuts, and they need to shut up and relax. Listen, if you want to get George W. Bush back, I'll take that in a heartbeat. But, people need to figure out that this isn't normal right now, what's going on. Everything's so divisive, and people are getting less and less and less more inclined to want to challenge themselves. They just want to be reinforced, and that's not the way things work. It's it's like the giving everybody a trophy for playing in Little League thing. No, you don't do that, because how do you know to get better? I'm sorry.
The Little League thing is definitely a thing I experienced as a kid, and there was definitely ups and downs to it. I do not deny that. But one question though, and because how often do you see like a gay man saying, talking about representation like this, about how saying there's too many things happening? How often do you see a black guy saying, and I don't mean to be racist against my own self. I don't mean to stir the pot, but 9 times out of 10, it's a white guy saying that, or girl. It's a white guy or girl saying that. And if I'm wrong, say so. Give me an example, and I'll my crow.
Well, I'll give you one example, but I understand what you're saying completely. So now this could be wrong. What I heard was when they were making the last Star Trek movie, Sulu, it was revealed as gay.
Yeah.
So, the person who said that they weren't, they weren't necessarily on board for this was George Takei.
Yeah.
Because George Takei was like, I played Sulu. I'm gay. He's like, Sulu wasn't gay.
Wow.
So
he played the right to play the character gay.
Yes.
They have gay characters for years, and so I get George Takei coming and saying that is baller move. So he's right.
I saw that in a tweet. I could be wrong, but I literally remember him saying he doesn't have to be gay. Not that he was against it fully, but he was just like, he doesn't have to be gay just because I'm gay.
Right.
And they wanted to do it as a tribute to him, and I get that 100%. So, but he was like, you don't have to just do it because I'm gay. It's like Sulu wasn't actually gay, but they're like, no, because of you and because of we're gonna do it. Now, it doesn't bother me a bit. It was like Sulu's gay. Okay, cool. Sulu's gay. It's that's and you see him with his, I believe it's daughter and husband. So I want to get to the point, like I was saying, there's all these ticking boxes right now, and people are going to be all like, oh, look, there's a black person or there's a gay person because of this and because of that. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. I think sadly, it's needed, only because people still aren't doing it by themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like people aren't doing it by themselves. They should be. They should be by now. And I think part of it's the studio system that's still like, oh, Middle America, China, blah blah blah, blah whatever.
Yeah, there's
China's a huge part of it.
It's China's a huge thing. Gay things, gayness in China.
Let's also call a spade, especially with the paternity, patriarch. Excuse me, paternity. There's a lot of corruption in the higher ups of Hollywood. People have done some grimy things to get people work. It seems like
you're going to be doing something.
How does my penis taste? Here you go. Here's a movie.
Yeah, it is true. That has happened.
So
and it's still happening to this day. I'm sure it's happening.
Sure.
Because of what happened with Harvey Weinstein. But that's so Hollywood, like the big ups and the studios need to get on board faster. The fact that like it's
a little hypocritical.
It's a little ridiculous on some level where they're like, you need 30% of this and 30% of that, because then it's like, I'm sure there are people who are going to get hired and it's literally a token. It's that we need an extra black cast member, so we're going to bring you in and give you a role, right? That's going to happen, right? But eventually that's going to stop because people will just do it naturally. I said something that someone disagreed with ultimately. Toronto has a huge gay pride parade. Right, it was one of the first ones, as far as I know. It's one of the biggest ones in the world. We have a huge pride parade. And someone was talking to someone once, and I said, "Yeah, I really hope one day we don't have that anymore." And they went, "Oh, why?" And I went, "Not because I'm against gay people by any stretch." I said, "We have the pride parade because gay people have felt marginalized and felt like they have been ashamed and felt like they've been not part of everything and being excluded." And so they felt they needed, as far as I can tell, this is what Pride Parade's about. It's about expressing that you're not ashamed of who you are, right? Are you guys on the same page with me?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so how awesome would it be if no one felt like that anymore? So there's no straight parade. Why? Because people aren't, there's no like, we need a straight parade because people need to be proud about being straight.
Yeah.
I would love to get to the point where it's not a thought about, we have to cast a gay actor, we have to cast a black actor, we have to cast a woman in this role because we need representation, because representation just happens. And so one day the gay pride parade won't happen anymore, because what would be the point?
Right.
And I'm not trying those things until we're at that point, though.
Yeah. Oh no. I'm not saying cancel it now or anything like that. I'm saying one day, go far enough in the future, Star Trek. This is not an issue anymore, right? The thought of like, we have to cast this guy, or we don't cast this guy because he's black, or we don't cast this woman in this role because she's the captain. We need a man in that role. There will come a time, hopefully, I pray, in the future.
I think we're good.
When it's a non-issue. But right now we're not there yet. And so the fact that they're like, we have to tick boxes. Eventually, if they keep doing it, they're going to stop ticking boxes and just make good films with diverse casts of people.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm against here, and I'm against this, is where they say you have to be this to be this. So you have to be gay to play a gay character. You have to be straight to play a straight character. I'm not necessarily for that.
Right.
Because they came out with,
Meryl Streep made a career out of
Disney is having their first gay character in one of their things. I don't know what it is. It's the Disney Plus show or something. And they hired a straight kid to play them, and people freaked out a while ago and said, you have to hire a gay character. You have to hire a gay actor. And it's like, well, if that's the case, that means if we're going to go across the board, it's like, then you can't have any gay actors playing straight people. And Matt Bomer, who's a gay actor, who came out going, whoa, because like 80% of the things he plays are straight guys. And he's just like, this is my bread and butter. Don't mess with my money. It's like, so I don't think you have to, like, you can't play that. And I'm against whitewashing. I'm definitely against, like, we're going to just make that a white person for the sake of having that. But I think people can play other things. That's what acting is. I think acting is acting. So I think you can have different people, like the whole, you can only have a transgender person played on screen by a transgender actor.
Sure.
I think you're limiting who can do what then, but that's me personally.
Yeah. It's you know, we see, you know, there's 2 or 3 things, or, you know, there's some small things that we seem to make a big deal over and really get heated about. There's some big things that we, you know, disagree over and get really heated about. But as humans, there's a ton of other shit that we disagree upon, and there's no problems. My favorite thing to eat at McDonald's is a Big Mac. Emily's favorite thing to eat at McDonald's is a chicken sandwich.
I don't rate
we don't we don't get into these 2-hour existential fucking arguments over whatever, and you know, she'll make me try the chicken. I'll taste it. Yeah, all right, I know I don't like it. I've tasted it. I'm not offended by it. You know, the fact that it's in my existence. This is a really horrible analogy. I apologize, but
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, we have to get to the Big Mac chicken sandwich with everything. Like, all right, you don't like pickles. Sorry. Sorry.
We can still be friends.
They exist. Right, exactly. All right, your favorite ice cream is vanilla. Well, here's chocolate. You don't have to eat it, but it exists. Just fucking just eat your vanilla and shut the fuck up.
The world's a big, wide place with a lot of diversity and interesting things. I think eventually people will. I will not accept your fucking chicken sandwich. That's funny. I think eventually people will get on board with like so. We were talking about like the thing where it's like eventually it won't be an issue. Right now, I remember Jordan Peele talking about the fact that from now on he's probably just going to cast black people in most of his major roles, and I'm like, part of me goes, well, that's kind of a little sad because it's like, what if there's an Asian person that would be perfect for that part, or a white person, or whatever? You're limiting yourself, but I understand what he's doing because it's trying to rebalance the scales. It's trying to rebalance the scales, right? So is it fair? No, not. But has it been fair for these people down here that have been stuck and not cast because of no? It's not been fair for them. So he's trying to bring the scales closer.
Yeah.
And as a filmmaker, he has a right to do that. I think like
just don't show any of them your penis. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a ton of prominent black people, Hispanic people, Asian people that are higher up in the pop culture sphere that they may not know it, but there's a lot of pressure on them to not fuck up. Like Jordan Peele's probably one of them. LeBron James, there's probably a ton of pressure. Like, please don't fuck up. Please don't.
Now that Tenet is out, I think there'll be
John David,
a lot more expensive. John David Washington. My brain just was
Aquafina from
actually I really like her. She's a good actress. I've only seen like 2 or 3 things, but I was like, she's good. It's
well, I mean, I say that. I say that because Amy Schumer. It was like, see, we can cast girls that aren't thin, aren't swimsuit model thing, whatever. And then it came out news that comics knew for decades that she's not exactly the most original person, and then she kind of got pseudo canceled, and it was like, well, you fucking idiot. Now they have to start over. That's where I'm at. I understand there's been this disparity, so bringing it much closer to parity, of however you want to call it, and like I said, I want to get to the point where it's a non-issue. It's not something we have to think about, but right now it is still, because it's 2020 and people still aren't casting people because, but white people won't buy a black person in this role.
right? Like you can
James Bond and Idris Elba, right?
Yeah. I am fine with Idris Elba being James Bond. I'm 100% down for it, right? The Tenet is literally Nolan's James Bond film. Like that's what it is. It's a guy traveling all around the world.
Fucking, he's a bank. The guy can produce money.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to hear that argument. Aaron, with this statement has wrapped it up so perfectly. Regardless of political ideology, if people don't sit down and talk, we're totally fucked. Right.
Yeah.
Right. You can't just sit in one corner and say, this is how I feel. You got to take a baby step closer. Just a baby.
There's a thing happening in the world. It's definitely happening in America. Where everyone's being divided into their categories, and then their subcategories, and then their subcategories.
Right.
So it's like, you're a white guy, cool, but are you this? Oh, okay, cool, you're this. Okay, so now you're a straight white guy. You're that category. You're a gay white guy, so now you're this category. You're a black guy, but you're this. Oh, so it's like, and then it's like, so you have to like, hi, I'm Jack, and I'm a straight white male who likes this and this and this, and I can only talk to you if you like those same things too. And don't bother talking to me if we're not. It's just like
interesting.
It's so much more diverse than that. We need to stop going into our as like look. There are people who'd be like, "You're a Christian, how are you?" I have never had an issue with you guys. You've never had an issue with me. We've never once gotten into it on any bad level, except that time CP fired me from show business. But that's beside the point. It's like we had all three of us have different different have faith views, right? We have probably different political views in different ways.
Yeah, I don't know
different views on this, on that, right? You can like one of my friends is a guy who's a super conservative guy. Yeah. And we argue for 2 hours, and then but I still consider him one of my best friends.
Right, exactly.
Because at the end of the day, there's respect. It's not like he can have a different opinion. We argue. I'll try and tell him why I think he's wrong. He'll tell me why I'm wrong. Sometimes I sway him. Sometimes he occasionally sways me. I'm like, okay, cool. That's
It should be where are you similar first? What are your similarities? Okay, good. Start there. All right, great.
Differences.
We both love Major League. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. We have a tiny piece to work from. How do you feel about vanilla Coke? Don't like it. All right. This is going to be hard. All right.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about
So I think people need to talk more. People need to talk to people that don't look like them and don't sound like them.
Yeah.
And like you that's where it's the whole pride thing, right? It's that movie. You get a bunch of gay people from London who literally go into a small Welsh town, and there are people who are like, they're perverts. They're and everyone else gets on board because they get to know them as people, and like it's just like it's really. I've said this a lot, and this is how I'm going to close.
Yeah, we're running.
We're running way over time. And I apologize. This is why CP doesn't have me on.
Yeah. This is why he was fired, by the way. We tried to talk about numbers, and this guy's telling us about land and time and shit.
But, dogs dying and stuff. Yeah. That time I watched Rambo at my birthday party. So I think it's real easy to make fun of XYZ.
Sure.
Right? It's real easy to make fun
I
of
made a lot
people.
of money doing that. What are you talking
gay
about?
People, black people, Asian people, white people. If you don't know any, it's like it's really easy to make fun of transgender people. It's really easy to make fun of, like, just fill in the blank. It's really easy until you get to know somebody who's that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not a thing, it's a person. It's not an identity, it's not a race, it's a person. And once you attach a proper person to that,
sure,
so whatever that is, it changes things immeasurably. And you can't just go, that's them. No,
I'll flip your statement right on it. It's realizing that, oh shit, they probably have something different yet similar to say about me. I also am a human with a heart and blood and a brain. What are they saying about what makes me different? It once, I mean, it was one of the really early steps of comedy that I makes me really able to shoulder a lot of things that maybe aren't funny, is realizing that, you know what, we're all different. None of us are perfect. Things are funny. We're all different. If we can realize our differences and still realize that we're just humans, and there's, there's just stereotypes. When people use certain words, the word doesn't define the human. It's I can't tell you
aspect of what I am.
Right. I can't tell you.
I'm a white guy.
Yeah. How many times people call me the Friday the 13th Part 6 guy? And I'm like, my favorite movie's Inception. Why the fuck are you calling me the Friday 6 guy?
Yeah.
So,
people talk about my beard. I don't understand why.
All right. So we've run long. Lindsay, you've been quiet. Any? I
am hungry, but I am here with you guys still. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm really glad to have you back on, Peter. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's awesome talking to you guys.
Yeah, it was fun. Again, massive apologies for not. I mean, we danced. We did a 2-step around some entertainment.
It's at least a 3-step, I'd say.
I will give. Peter, if you want to join us next week, why don't you join us? Although I'm going to give you guys homework.
I was going to give me something to talk about that's not on the cuff.
Right. I would like us to watch Antebellum and discuss it, because
I don't know if I can do that.
I'll get my uncle in touch with you, and then
and then
is it? I guess it's on Google Play right now. Like, where is it?
Yeah, my uncle's, he's got some connections. We'll get that in order. Nothing is. Can you, Lindsay, before we go, can we quadruple check that nothing remotely devastating is coming out this Friday? I don't think.
I'm pretty sure, but yeah. No worries, yeah.
I believe Tenet is coming out this Friday.
Yeah, they pushed up Halloween Kills. Wait, what?
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I'm ready for that discussion.
I can't wait.
Somebody dies.
I mean, that's just a mean thing to say.
In a slasher? No.
Hey, like, what is this?
I watched Prom Night for the first time the other night.
I haven't seen that movie either. The good one or the
very
remake?
Dark. Like, the cinematography is like scenes for 5 minutes where I'm like, I have no clue what's going on.
That's like Friday.
Like, I know there's someone chasing somebody, but it's so dark I can't tell what exactly is going on.
That's Friday the 13th. Hey, what the hell is that? A super sticker. Wait, in the chat, it's got a unicorn. Thanks, Felix. I like
the unicorn.
I like the unicorn, but why isn't it showing up on this thing? Fucking YouTube, man.
Stop censoring my unicorns, you cowards.
Yeah, thank you, Felix. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much. And to Aaron earlier, too. I can't remember if I said anything or not.
Aaron's been tremendous for... There's a bunch of people... I should say that there have been a bunch of people that have been tremendous for this household as 2020 has just annihilated. Yeah. The 20s have just 2020 has just annihilated this household. As you can see, I just lost this or half of this tooth Saturday night. There's a lot of you guys that have really been there for us without asking for anything. Some of you have offered me work, and I'm happy to do it, especially with editing. I kind of have fun with that. But present company included, Lindsay, I appreciate things you've done for me. Yeah. Yeah. Spoiler, he's going to have something made from me. Peter, obviously, thanks to you. Felix has been huge this year. Sky has been huge this year. Trini has been huge this year. Dice, huge this year. Aaron, I think I said it before. I'll say it again. Just monstrous. Jace has been huge. But Tim, I know Tim can't afford to help, but he has been. Guys, it really means the world to both of us. Regardless of what it is you're putting forward, whether you're putting it forward for content or just to help, but it's massively appreciated. We're not trying to be beggars here. We're just trying to slow down the process. It feels like we take a step forward and the system pulls us 3 steps back. And we just can't catch up. And it seems like the first comes way too fast. And, if you're behind, 500% every month, that adds up. And, a lot of you guys have been there, and I cannot express how thankful I am for you guys. With no questions asked. There's a lot of you guys that I have stuff that is literally sitting in the living room in a pile that I'm supposed to send to you. I can't afford to do it. It's still here. We didn't forget about you. I have your stuff. Hopefully, if the IRS will just send me my fucking tax return, I can breathe just a little bit. But you guys have been huge. I realize it feels like every 2 weeks it's like, hey, we lost a tooth, but we're putting. Yeah. Well,
you must be making a ton by the tooth fairy. Come on.
Yeah. The problem is we're putting. I mean, when you don't have money, you put Band-Aids on it. You go to the dentist who says. I mean, I remember Emily. They said $1,600 for her to have 2 teeth yanked, and I was like, just to pull them? Give me a fucking wrench. How much does it cost for anesthesia? Fucking jack her up. I'll yank them out with a wrench. What do you mean $1,600? So we said, what's your payment plan? They said, well, we're going to need at least $400. We gave them $400, and they haven't heard from us since. There's some people are crooks, and we're just putting Band-Aids on these things, and now me, I don't know how long, because when I breathe in, it fucking hurts. It's cold and it hurts. But
the tooth.
Yeah, because it's an exposed thing.
Nerve.
Yeah. So it like the air isn't even cold, but it feels like it's like a jolt. It's like, oh, never mind. And then God forbid I quit. I drinking water would be the intelligent thing, but no, I'm just gonna make sure that tooth destroys itself.
You rot away the bad stuff and it'll be better.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It's like cleaning it out with maggots and stuff.
If it rots away, I won't feel it, right? But no, I realize as a skeptic, as a cynic, it does seem like we're in dire straits. It seems like every month or two, guys. But we are. If you think we're trying to pull legs, I can show you bills. I've applied for lots of things. Like rent assistance, things like food stamps. We went to a food drive recently, and that's a hell of an experience. I almost wanted to vlog it, but I felt disgusting even thinking about doing it, because it's really shitty when you get to a situation like that, because a food drive is just like grocery food, like a grocery store's. Their date has passed.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, essentially, you have stuff you have to eat quick, or stuff that, like, it was so depressing. We went to one and they had strawberries, and like on the outside, like the outside of the box, they had fuzz. And she's like, "Well, the ones in the middle are okay. You could just kind of cut around the fuzz." And I was like, "What is life? What is this?" And I don't know. I don't know where I went. I appreciate you guys. I guess it's the best way to put it. I'm not putting you on. When I get something from the IRS, when I get some sort of paperwork, I'll be sure to block. Hell, if you want to take my social security number, there's not much you can do with my credit. It's already fucked. Maybe you can make it better. But once things come in, I'll show you, and I'll send those things out. I appreciate you guys still hanging in there for us, regardless of what we're putting out, regardless of what we're doing, regardless of what we're saying. It's massively appreciated. I love you guys. Thank you to Scolder. Scolder, I didn't see you there. I apologize. Yeah. Lindsay?
I got a backlog of videos, and maybe something I'll get out this week if I can hammer out the script. We'll see.
Yeah, 2 in
you need
2 weeks.
To watch Tenet. You need to watch Tenet again, sir, and then
we'll see.
Then do a video again about it.
Yeah. We could do depending on who's with us, we could do a Tenet spoiler / Antebellum stream if you guys want.
I actually do want to watch Antebellum, so I'll definitely try and do that this week. That sounds good.
All right, so show business regardless of if Fuego and Chauncey join us. I know Chauncey's schedule is probably picking up because
stuff's happening in the world.
Yeah, stuff's happening in the world, and the politics shit is picking up, and she is a real life, real news journalist.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to write about the political world going on right now.
So and it's not like, we love Chauncey. We love having her here. We love having diversity, if explicitly for shows like this, for episodes like this, just to get different voices and different opinions. But we're nowhere near as important what she's doing right now. Same could be said for Fuego. Fuego's got some stuff going on too, and it's okay. It's okay. We might go back to taking a week off or a specialty show or something, or just BSing. We thought Tenet was going to bring theaters back with a rousing storm, but well,
it aroused something, if you know what I mean.
It's doing fine worldwide. I guess that's the only thing I can say for it.
Actually, what's funny is the drive-in that I saw it in is one of the. It's listed as like the top 3 or 4 places in the States that Tenet is playing right now. It's making most of its money. It's a really backwards, roundabout way to say that.
Do you know the number 4 and 5 films for 2020? Do you know what they are? Total money.
One's like the 800 or something like that, or like it's like they're both Asian films, aren't they?
No. I might be only thinking of domestic, but the 4th highest grossing film in 2020 is Jumanji, which is a 2018 film.
Wow.
The 5th
2019 film.
The 5th. Oh yeah, excuse me. Yeah, 2019 film. The 5th highest is Star Wars, which is another 2019 film. So take that. We have 3 months left, and I don't think either of them.
Is Birds of Prey still in the top? Is that still a thing?
No, I think it's Bad Boys 3 is going to be your number 1 for the year.
Of course, yeah.
Shit. There was another one that was. Fuck.
Birds of Prey, highest grossing for the domestic box office is number 30 at 84 million.
So it is
top of the year, guys.
What's 2?
For domestic, Sonic, and then Bad Boys.
Sonic. How could I forget about Sonic? That was actually fun.
Yeah, I kind of like Sonic.
Yeah.
If I had known I wouldn't get to see too many more movies in theaters this year, I wouldn't have been.
I know. That's going to be your 5, guys. That's going to be your 5 because I don't know. They keep pushing everything back.
Yeah.
What are they? Bond is the next closest thing.
Bond and Soul in November, I think.
Because they pushed Wonder Woman back. They pushed.
Yeah.
What else did they push back?
Yeah.
Soul's a Pixar movie, right? Am I making that up?
Yeah. Soul's a Pixar movie.
Yeah.
But a trumpet player, I think a jazz trumpet player or a teacher.
Universal should put Halloween Kills on VOD.
It would be a way to make some money.
It would be. It's ready. Not
Is
that
the second, are both parts shot or just just Halloween Kills?
I think Kills is shot.
Okay.
But
Halloween Ends is the other one, right?
Yeah, Halloween Ends is the other one, but it's ready.
Fair enough.
They should
any final words, Peter, before we see you again next week?
It has been a pleasure coming back.
Yes, good to have you back. Yes, we missed you.
I'm glad you're alive and not like COVIDed to death and stuff.
Yeah, thankfully. Yeah, no. It is funny. I went to my work a couple weeks ago and went on a Monday morning and got to the door and a guy showed up in hazmat gear.
Oh, God.
Gown and he's like, and I'm just like, what? And he's like, yeah, there might be COVID inside.
Oh.
Like, well, then I'm not coming. He's like, I'm not. And what it was we take temperatures twice a day or twice a shift.
Holy shit.
And the temperature was too high, but we found out later it was the gauge was faulty. It had messed up, and so I was off work for a couple of days just because I was like, I'm not coming in. I share a house with my parents, and my parents are older, so I was like, I'm not taking COVID home to them.
Yeah.
So I was just like, so I was off work for like a day and a half, and then they found out, they tested them and was like, no, everyone's clean. And I was like, okay, I'm coming back to work. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm still alive, thankfully. So yeah, it was nice coming back. Check out my channel. Sure, whatever. I don't care. Doesn't matter if you're doing that.
Yeah. It's nice to get some throwback editions in here.
You see me with long hair and less white in my beard.
Before anybody asks, Dino will not be back next week. So there's that. Have a good night.